All right, we are live. Welcome back to the sixth episode of the Price Memory Podcast with me, myself, Retrospects, and the Honorable Kyoke Bacon, Knockout Cards, Collectibles, and Repacks, and Speculation.
Whoa!
What's been going on with you? How's it going?
Firstly, I just want to congratulate you. I knew you were a genius businessman. I knew that you were smart. You knew what you're doing. But to buy your allocation of Power World at distribution pricing, and with the foresight that there was going to be an error print on the box, is just genius. So really well deserved 5x there on your money spent. I know you haven't received it yet, but yeah, just really well planned out and executed. So congratulations.
Yeah, appreciate that. I'm very excited to get those boxes in so I can dump them expeditiously. Will not be holding on to that. Like I saw, I think it was Alex. I can't remember, but he was like, "Yeah, like I'm buying it to hold on to," and like I don't know, dude. With how crazy things are, maybe it does go up. But I'm like $200 a box or whatever it is for Pal World is already like plenty for me. Like I'm stoked with 175 or 200 or whatever. Like especially with distro price being so low, and it's made by Bushy Road, which is like the same company that does like Weiss and stuff. So like
Yeah.
I don't trust them like at all. Like I am sure like especially with how hype it is, like they're gonna see this and they are going to hammer the print button. Like they're just gonna turn around. Everything they make is like in Weiss. I don't know if you've ever opened Weiss or seen Weiss cards, but like everything outside of the main hits is like really bad quality. Like it's like not like a high quality, like good looking card. So I haven't seen the Power World stuff, but like I imagine it's the same. And them seeing that their boxes are 175, they're just going to turn around and dump as much as they can because they print to order. So which is surprising too. Like I think part of the reason it's run up so much is because people were just like, "Oh, I'm not ordering this," because it's print to order. Like I got my entire allocation. Like I don't get an entire allocation for anything because like I'm a smaller account, newer account. I got my entire what I asked for Power World, and a bunch of other people that like I've seen, like I think in like Eli's program and stuff, they got like everything that they asked for. So I think just like no one ordered it or something,
So what happened for a bit of context is they released these first wave boxes, and then people started noticing that they spelt Power World wrong on the box. There's an error on the box, and so Bushy Road came out and said, "Hey, we've realized that this first wave print of booster boxes has this error. We're going to reprint them without the error and print as much as you want." So I think that's the only reason why the speculators are buying up these first print boxes. And you watch the next wave, the wave 2, be absolutely dirt cheap. It's gonna be close to worthless. Yeah, it's all stupid. That's another. It's all crazy. It's the topic for later, but it is all crazy. We've seen the same thing. Like, I think the most notorious ones, obviously, like the One Piece Blue Bottom. Like, it's got different cards in it, and so it's actually it's not just the box. Riftbound, the same thing. Like what Origins Wave 1, those first print waves, they're selling for like $7,000. They're selling for like $7,000 a case now, US on ProStand and stuff. People are auctioning these first wave cases. They were $2,000 a week ago, 2 weeks ago when we did that first pod. I was buying first wave cases for $2,000, and now ProStand's auctioning between 5 and 7. Who knows if it's real or not? They're putting up like 3 or 4 cases a day, but people love this extra layer of stupid scarcity or whatever, like manufactured rarity. It's all a bit silly, but it's how the market is at the moment. And with people kind of putting their money elsewhere outside of Pokemon, it's just pretty much flooding into anything. As you said, like with people are spending money for the sake of spending money because they're not wanting to spend on Pokemon, and it's just how it is.
Which is hilarious because people have been bitching and moaning for so long that they like Pokemon scalpers and it's so expensive and blah blah, and the market needs investor bros need to get wrecked, like all this stuff, and then finally Pokemon becomes like not available widely at MSRP or whatever, but like more available at like better prices, and no one's buying. And it's hilarious because I think we talked about this in the first or second one, like when we were sort of or first or second podcast when we were talking about just like going back into a bear market. Are people going to learn? And like people never learn. Like people never learn. You know what I mean? And like if anything solidifies it, like this solidifies it for me, because they didn't learn in 2022, 2023. And then we went through the most insane 3-year bull run, and we're just giving a little bit of it back now, and things are cooling off a little bit, and people still haven't learned. And there's more money here than ever. There's more infrastructure than ever. Like it's insane. So I mean, I guess we can kind of get into it. I see you say you're lacking sleep. It's like right before we got on, I haven't taken a nap, and like I didn't even mean to take a nap. I passed out for like 45 minutes, and I woke up and I was like, oh no, I got to do a podcast in an hour. So if I seem any more brain dead than usual, that's
I'm
why.
the
But
these, like, I was going to like start with, like, I think these last 2 weeks since the last pod, we have spoken the least I think we've ever spoken in probably 2 years. I just have had so much going on. I just have ignored almost everything else. That it's just been, there's no slowdown in business activities. Prices might be correcting a bit, but man, it's just as full on, if not more full on, than it's ever been. Starting new projects and bringing new streamers on, and still creating new avenues and stuff like that. Like, we've just added an extra 2 days now to stream, so we're now live 6 days a week, 6 nights a week. And now, you know, that creates, yes, I'm offloading the streaming to other people and things like that, but and the shipping to other people, but now I've got to try and figure out how to source more for an extra 2 streams a week. And it's just that with other projects going on, it's just nonstop. We're doing a $100,000 stream this Sunday on eBay Live, like getting help with like promotion from them and stuff from that. Like, so got all that planned and dropping our new like repack series and stuff like that. So it's just been a long week of getting shit ready. But yeah, it's crazy than ever. But Market Watch, I mean, you know, watching the market, like I guess the eBay Live market and like your streaming market's a little bit different than your general market. It's a bit more up and down. But I think overall you can sort of still see the trend of what people are buying and kind of what people are willing to pay for stuff. And I have noticed, you know, a little bit of softening in that sort of $200 to $500 range for a lot of items. Like maybe $200 to $2,000 range. I feel like there's a bit of softening. I feel like you've got like over $2,000 grails for a lot of stuff that's not like super modern and still at PSA getting mass grade and stuff like that. It's all in pretty okay. Definitely seen some pretty big pullbacks in a lot of nice cards that I kind of hold in inventory, but also still seeing stuff go up. So for example, like the Armored Mewtwo, that raced up again from, this is all Australian, but it's all relative. Pre the last 12 months, that card got back down to, it went to 1,000, went back down to 500, went all the way up to 2,400 here. I sold a few copies up at 2,400, and now it's all the way back at sort of 1,400. So seeing these massive swings still. But then like stained glass birds, the last 3 days I've sold a stained glass bird at 10, and I put the price up, and that card is actually, you know, on an upward trajectory now. You know, it's what's Hidden Fates 2019. You know, it's a 7-year-old card now. It's always been one of the most popular cards. So there is definitely still things still trending up. A lot of stuff that had like a double or a tripling in the last couple of months is pulling back, but I'm still seeing pretty good strength in like the $1 to $50 range. I've seen no drop off in demand for a $20, $30 slab of like a Dragonite V full art or something like that. Like, that market is still just as in demand as ever. And a lot of it is, I know a lot of like regulars in my stream, they're literally in my stream buying inventory for their whatnot streams and stuff like that. So definitely haven't seen like a falling off at all in the lower end of that market.
We are live. Welcome back to the really quick. Will you?
Yeah.
Start playing the podcast. Will you move your camera like down a little bit, because your name, yeah, there you go. Your name was like right in the middle of your face. Yeah, I totally agree with you on like the cheaper stuff. Like, I run a lot of stuff through Fanatics, and like that stuff has just been super printy still. It's kind of, and even like, you know, guys I deal with, like I do the wholesale like singles sourcing for a couple of the bigger whatnot guys, and one of them was just like strictly Pokemon forever, like wouldn't touch literally anything else outside of Pokemon, which, you know, makes sense. And he just asked me to start getting him some One Piece and DBZ stuff too. And there are so many, like, this is totally like spilling plays, but like there are so many nice, dude. Some of the manga cards of like key scenes are like $2 to $5, super cheap. And those are stupid printy. Like, if you're a streamer and like you have any sort of like DBZ, like that is like literally the freest money. Like the cards are so nice. It's Bandai print quality. So yeah, I mean that stuff is like yeah, very, very
Are you
printy
sourcing
right
mainly
now.
Japanese or that sort of stuff, or English?
Yeah, but I mean, even like for Fanatics and stuff, like I've been buying like
Yeah.
a ton of the English because the English stuff is cheap too. Like, I mean, outside of like there's the energy markers and stuff like the chase cards are dummy expensive, but there's so many yeah, for real. There's so many like anything that isn't like the top tier chase card, there's so many key scenes and key characters that are, yeah, I mean, like in the $2 to $10 range, and like all this stuff tens. So
I remember
yeah,
getting the other day, I got like a buy order in, and they just like sandwich your card in between two random cards. Like it was like a Gohan manga, like foil. And I was like, dude, this looks sick. And I looked it up and it was like $1.30. I was like, what the? Like, the nice, really
yeah, but I
nice
mean,
looking, high quality cards. Like it's
yeah,
crazy.
you ten it and it's like 35, $45 like all day. You know what I mean? I think even the assisted Kamehameha one is like a six
Mm.
dollar card, which is insane. It's like, dude, what, like literally every other instance of that card in any card game is like dummy expensive. So anyways, we can't talk about DBZ too much, or James is gonna lose it when he watches this back. So it
But
is what
like
it
Michael
is.
was talking about Fanatics. Like I source a lot. It's funny, you sell a lot on Fanatics. I source a lot of Fanatics. And you would think if we're coming into this slow down where everyone's trying to dump their stuff. I'm finding it harder and harder week on week to actually source cards off, like specifically off Fanatics. And I've already talked about how that's a good avenue to buy stuff because a lot of people dump a lot of stuff. But man, it's the last 3 or 4 weeks, it's been bleak. Like I'm getting significantly less. There's like less availability for that $1 to $50 price range, I'm finding, which is hard. At the moment, like I feel like they obviously get big submissions and they process as much as they can. The last few weeks, it's been like, and I've talked about this before, like opportunities and stuff like that. It's only been like, the only thing I've seen mass quantity of is still like modern promos, things like the Phantasmal Flames UPC promos. Every week, like I'm buying stacks of like the Charizard and CGC 10. At the moment, First Partner is getting hammered. The packs are insanely cheap. The graded cards are insanely cheap. You can buy graded Gem 10s of a lot of the like the less popular ones on Fanatics for like $13 at the moment. Like you can get like Poplios and Tepigs for $13 in Gem 10, $15 in Gem 10. Even the Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle are getting pretty cheap in Gem 10. But then also when I'm reselling, I'm like, I was getting $1,000 for the Squirtle, Charmander, Bulbasaur set in Gem 10 or like Arc Pristine 10 maybe a month ago, but now that's dropped from 800 to 1,000 down to like 300 to 400, but still margin there, obviously, because the cost of goods is significantly dropped. But this is where I love to make opportunity of that 30th anniversary promos of starters, full arts in Gem 10 for under public grading cost. It's kind of
Yeah,
say less.
yeah, it's insane. A lot of the people, like when I started offering the promo packs through wholesale, like when they got cheap, people like backed the truck up. Like those have been selling really, really well. And I don't know what people are doing with those. I don't know if they're like making piles for when PSA reopens, or maybe they're going full degen and trying to grade like the consecutive sets or whatever. But people are definitely buying those, and I'm sure like a certain percentage of them are obviously ending up at Fanatics. And yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. I mean, we've talked about it a few times, but having the conviction to just be like, this is what it is. Right now is the most flooded with those cards it's ever going to be, and they're super available and they're super cheap until they're not, until people, like I remember when they first got announced, shout out to Jodo Jabroni, Jodo Jake. I know he's not making like a ton of content anymore, but like he made those
That was good
videos about
content. Yeah.
yeah, he made the videos about the art and stuff, and like people were hyped. Like people were so, oh my god, there's all these special things from the games and all these callbacks to the games and like all this stuff, and people were super stoked about it. And now like no one's talking about them, but like that's when you want to buy, because at some point Deep Pocket Monster or X YouTuber is going to show them again and talk about how cool they are, and everybody's going to realize like, oh yeah, like these are popular Pokemon, these are cool arts, blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden people are going to start to buy them again. They're going to gap up, they're going to double very quickly off the bottom. So yeah, I mean, I do think it's a good opportunity for sure. I'd probably be loading up on like the Kanto starters for sure.
Yeah,
But
I'm going less heavy on the dusty ones. Like I'm buying the
yeah,
Kanto starters, the Totodile, Chikorita, Cyndaquil. and then just specifically Piplup. They're kind of the only ones, because I think Piplup's a pretty popular Pokemon. That's it. That's kind of the only ones I'm hitting. I'm kind of leaving the rest of them. But I'm picking Piplups. I just checked. Piplups up for like $16 in Gem 10. It's just, it's wild. And this is the absolute time that you need to, and it's not going to last. Like, yes, these might keep getting flooded. There might be tons in the queue, because I know Fanatics is a bit behind. They're really, only this week was the first week I saw the Totodile, Cyndaquil, Chikoritas on there. So that's obviously the gap. Series 2 came out, what, a month ago, 5 weeks ago? So there's obviously that lag time with getting them on the market. But I think the next couple of weeks is when you're really going to see that sort of stuff come. And this is what I've seen before. I said to you, I would have bought 200 McDonald's Pikachus, CGC 10 Gem Mint, because on Fanatics, it hit that point of 5 to 6 weeks after it came out where where every single person sent them to Fanatics, and you could buy Gem 10s for less than the pack price. And so
I remember that.
Just loaded it up, and I got a box back, and it was literally like 220 Gem 10 McDonald's Pikachus. And I've still got some, and as I said, paid like $31 each, and they're still like 70. It's crazy, and we see it all the time with those boy promos. And I think it's just a play like that everyone really should be doing. Finding, if you like the card raw and you plan to buy the card raw and grade it, why not pick up already graded copies for cheap? If you've got an avenue to, I've got an avenue to get rid of them. If you're just in the grading play, obviously don't bother. But
I think people are like, when we look about kind of what happened with like slab prices specifically, I think people, not to sound like, super douchey or condescending or whatever, but like people are just sheep, like when we look at like how much money kind of came in really, really quickly, and everybody was like paying all these crazy prices and ran everything up like so quickly. And now like everything's cooling off. Like it's, all it takes is for like a shift in sentiment. Like nothing has to change about the products at all. It's literally just a change in sentiment. And I think a lot of it is people need the affirmation. Right now, you're in a time where like you're gonna think like, hey, this might be a good decision, this might be a good buy, whether it's like sealed products, singles, or a slab or whatever. And you're gonna like look to your left, look to your right, and you're looking for like your buddies or the people around you to tell you like, yeah, that's a great buy, like I'm doing that too. But like you're not getting that right now. Like you're not going to get that. Everybody is scared and everybody is like unsure. And like you said, like this is the time when you like create opportunity. But for 99% of people in the market, like they're not going to create that opportunity for themselves because they're scared, because they're not getting that affirmation. And whether it's Discord or YouTube or Reddit or wherever it is that people are looking for that, like they're not going to get it. As soon as people start getting that, then the market is going to shift really aggressively. And that's when you see things like gap up and go crazy and stuff like that. But by the time that happens, like you're already too late. And a good percentage of the opportunity has already sort of like been squeezed out by the people that didn't need the affirmation. So that's kind of what I'm like seeing right now. Like I look at a lot of stuff and I'm like, that's too cheap. That's too cheap. That's too cheap. Especially with like, PSA, the backlog just grew again, I guess. Like I got that update in my email and like the backlog just grew again. And like they're still getting inundated with cards. They're still stuck at $80. There's still a lot of stuff that's like really good, but just doesn't make sense to grade at $80. And yeah, I just like, I think there is so much, but you're going to have to be okay with waiting. Like it's not going to be an instant turnover. It's not going to be an instant double up. And I think people just got really used to buying something. And by the time it gets to them, it's up 10, 20, 30%. And then if they wait another week or two and they pick the right item, like they've doubled their money. And I think that that's unhealthy, but I think that it trains people's brains to have unrealistic expectations. And I think what's happening now is painful, but like it is healthy, right? And it's not just healthy for like newer people, like it's healthy for me, right? It's healthy for experience, because I can't call the top. I'm not trying to call the top. And like we probably like maybe we were at a local top or whatever, but like who knows? Like by the holidays or whatever, like we'll see what happens. But it's healthy for me to see, because I was just thinking same sort of thing. Like every day, like when is this going to stop? Like this just seems infinite. This just seems like it's going to go on forever. So it's healthy for me to like see a correction. Like I felt like it was going to happen, and we would joke about like, oh, like a bear market, what are we going to buy for like the longest time? But it just never came. So like sitting and having the conversations about it seemed like pointless, because it was like, okay, yeah, like we want this to happen, but like it's not happening. Like it's never going to happen. And now that it's finally here, people unfortunately are doing are doing like the same thing that they've all but like it's just like, what do you think about that? Like, are you surprised at all? Like, do you, or am I just being like, because again, I don't watch a ton of like Pokemon, so like maybe people are like buying the dip or loading up or what, like what are you seeing? How do you feel?
I'm not surprised. I think it's just as I've said, like a reel popped up about when we talk about the optimization stuff. Like it is just emotion driven, and you can't, unless you've got enough experience to like put the emotional part of it aside. Like I'm not surprised by how people are reacting. Like just the amount of like Facebook posts I'm seeing now of like people just like trying to get out of everything they have. Like, oh, I really need to sell my collection for this, and you see it's a pitch black ETB, a Chaos Rising ETB, a first partner box, and then a raw Trikachu. And it's like I've got to sell my whole collection. Like I think that's kind of a lot. Well, obviously, like with this big boom, like a lot of that boom is new people coming in, and so it's not surprising that this is their first rodeo. All their products are comprising of stuff from the last 12 to 18 months. They're seeing a pullback, and it might be just them, trying to get profits and stuff like that. But it's not surprising. It's to be expected, and I think people who have the mental fortitude to, understand what's going on and capitalize where there's opportunities, stuff like that, are going to be the ones that obviously come out better at the end of it. Don't know if that's going to be 3 months from now when 30s is out, or if it's going to be 3 years from now after a prolonged. You never know, but yeah, it's not surprising to me, and it really is the inexperienced people who it really affects the most, I think.
If,
Hey,
if
PK,
you
we
had
go,
to
man.
put like a if you had to put like a percentage, like what do you think the chances are that it is within, like, that things do rebound on more of like a short time or a short term time frame versus, like you said, maybe like it takes like 2 years 3 years and like an entire like cycle? Like what are you leaning more towards happening?
Like right now, I believe that we got exactly what we not assumed, but like what everyone said that would take for the market to slow down was multiple lackluster sets in a row that people aren't putting additional, speculation funds into or ripping more of it. Like I ripped a lot more and just for fun, like as someone who enjoys the space, like I ripped a lot of these other sets for the last couple of years because they were genuinely more enjoyable. But I ripped maybe 10 packs. I ripped like 30 packs of Phantasmal, and then it kind of slowed down again. I didn't really rip any pitch black, and maybe like 2 packs or something like that. But it's just multiple lackluster sets in a row, kind of stagnating the flow of money into the modern sets, which causes that drawdown in the modern sets, which then creates this idea that the entire market is dropping back. But I do think a lot of it is people putting money aside for the 30th, which we said before. And you're seeing a lot of that excess money at the moment spill into other things like Riftbound and One Piece and Power World and Lorcana and people going all these other things. And I think I think there'll be a bit of a reversal come the 30th, especially if 30th product starts getting hammered and actually starts becoming really available and gets a bit lower. It really depends. Again, then if you come into 30th and people spend a lot of, I think you're going to see initial really high prices for 30th. But if they do what they did 30th for celebrations and print it for 18 months, 2 years, and really, really get that product available, you're going to see the exact same thing again. You're going to see people, the market's talking about how much you're already seeing it. This whole week, my bloody feed's been like, I'm not clicking on anything, but the whole feed is just 30th printed to the ground, down arrow, like they've printed infinite of it, and no one has any idea. But that's all I've been seeing is how much 30th is getting printed, and it's not going to matter initially. It's going to matter in 3 to 6 months after the set releases, when people have had their fix of opening it and made their master sets and done their grading plays. That's kind of the make, to me, that's kind of the make or break. I think you're going to see a big surge in the market again come the 30th. It's going to be that 3 to 6 months after the 30th, with how much they print of that. But then again, if they're printing so much of that, this new facility is not going to be online for the next year or two. if they're printing that much of the 30th, are they going to drop back to, like, I assume they're not going to reprint like Pitch and Chaos and Perfect and things like that. It is all very unknown. I think you're going to see a bit more of a resurgence back for the 30th, and then it'll be interesting after 30. I think that's kind of the make or break point, is 3 to 6 months after the 30th.
Well, it's funny because to your point about like people have no idea, like it is goofy to being like, oh, they printed it to the ground, because like you're getting secondhand information from somebody that's getting secondhand information. Like, oh, my allocation from distro was higher than this like last set or whatever. And like I have been like hammering the table for like the past couple of years saying that like Pokemon was not prepared for the 25th anniversary. And because so much money came in, because so many new fans came in, and because of like the logistical issues and all the stuff that happened like during, COVID and stuff like that, like they were not prepared for the 25th, but that the 30th was going to be crazy. Like I said that on podcast with Josh, I said that on my own like I was saying that because I was like, they are going to service fans. Like now that they know that there's people that are interested here, like they're going to put money behind this. Like they're going to make this really good. And that comes with like printing more of it, because it's a huge like customer acquisition funnel. Like you want this product to be available. Like you want it to get in the hands of kids. Like you want it because it's an important milestone in like Pokemon's history. So like you don't just want it in like crazy like people that are already collectors. Like you want this to bring like new people in and to like reinvigorate like new demand and all that sort of stuff. But it is goofy that people are saying like, oh yeah, like it's overprinted. But then I saw the thing too about like the potential, like the other rarity whatever of the Mew or whatever, and it's like people are like, oh, it's 1 out of 10,000. It's like, based on what? Like the set isn't even out for another month yet, and you guys
that hasn't even been confirmed real yet, I don't think.
I know, it's so crazy. It's like, dude, with all these like fake arts that are coming out, it's like you don't even know if that card's real. You have no idea what the pull rates are, and people are like, oh bro, if they add this in the set, it's going to be worth it. It's like, you don't even know if it's real. Like, what are we talking about? But to that point, if people didn't care, if people weren't excited, they wouldn't be talking about it, right? And they wouldn't be speculating, they wouldn't be super hyped about it, right? So like, I guess that's the other side of it, is like people are excited enough to be like still like like doing this wild speculation and stuff like. But I saw that stuff and I'm like, you guys, like, come on, like what we're going off like AI Instagram posts now. Like what are we doing here? So it's just
it's crazy because those leaks came 100%. Only one source was that Australian whatnot streamer. I know him here. That was allegedly stolen product from Indonesia. It was like a case of the poster or binder collections or whatever it was. Again, like you could have fabricated, I'm not saying it is, but you could have fabricated that amount of fake cards, whatever you wanted. It doesn't matter. No one knows anything. It's just wild. And then at the point, like so many of these new people are watching all these channels that are saying this Mew's 1 in 10,000 packs, but everything's printed to the ground and it's going to like they're the people that are getting their mindset changed by all this absolute wild speculation based on absolutely nothing. It's crazy. But like as you're saying, like the Pokemon are doing exactly what they need to do and should do, is getting as much of this 30th out. They saw exactly what happened to the 25th. They've comprised one of the best sets of all time, which is funny because I got that reel of me saying that the 30th anniversary is undoubtedly the best set of all time. Got so much traction on Instagram because people like, this guy, tell me this guy's started collecting last week, that telling me.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, it's like, bro, like, come on, dog. I was like, yeah, that was hilarious to me because it's like, oh man, like you have no idea. Like, oh, I casually graded like the first playtest cards of the first DBZ, but yeah, I started yesterday, dude. that's so.
But they've made, as you said, like this 30th anniversary, any anniversary product. I think the theme is it is a customer. I think every set is obviously, but specifically anniversary sets are a customer acquisition funnel. They make so many SKUs of products with trying to make readily available packs. And the way they've designed the set, 30 Pikachus in one Pikachu in every pack. That is literally designed for kids to collect some cheap holographic Pikachus. Like the way they've designed it is fantastic. And I think they should absolutely print it as much as they can, because it's going to be they're going to bring in a new customer base, I think, of people who maybe hadn't been collecting in a while or something like that.
Well, and there's so part of the reason I think that there's so many SKUs too is it hits every single price point like of
Yes.
availability and affordability, and they're gonna do multiple waves of it going into like Christmas. So parents that are like dummy rich can buy their kids the UPC, but if parents only have like a $50 budget or something, then they can buy them like the tech stickers or the booster bundles or like whatever, or an ATB or whatever's in that price range. So like they're not doing that on accident. Like they're leading into the holidays, and like the specialty set in English isn't going to come out until like January. So like, them having multiple waves of the product coming out and then them continuing to print it into the holidays, like of course they're gonna do, like, you know what I mean? Like that totally makes sense. And then them, leading into the end of the year with like a Rayquaza set, which maybe not like the best set in the world, but like a lot better than the past three. So I think all this is intentional, and I think it's smart. I just think, yeah, the wild speculation stuff is super goofy to me. But I don't know, man. Like it's just where we're at, and I think the hype is good, and people. Okay, the one thing I will say though is like the leaks and stuff. Why would you risk? Pokemon does like not play with that kind of stuff. Like they do not play with you breaking street date and stuff like that. So it's like, why are you going on your stream? Like
I don't know.
I'm
I don't know how it's been allowed. I don't know how.
yeah, like
Because he did it for multiple days. It was like days in a row.
The
Yeah.
Chinese makes sense because it's China. Like they do what they want. Like they don't have intellectual property laws over there like we do in the United States and stuff like so. Like they're gonna do what they want, and like good luck trying to get like Pokemon to like prosecute you or doing like if you're in China, like you're probably more protected. But like Australia or the United States, like when these people break street date, it's insane to me. It's like you are risking the entirety of your business just to like one time sell packs for. And I'm surprised PS because like I'm sure a certain percentage of these cards are making it to PSA or CGC. Like
100%.
there's like to me, it's like how is PSA not flagging those and like telling Pokemon, yo, like we got these cards from this person. Like I don't know the legality around all that and like doxing people, but like it's there's got to be like some paper trail or something that you can get access to, and Pokemon has like taken PokeRev and PokeChloe and like all these people down for having Poke in their names, but then they're letting sets get dropped like a month or like that seems crazy to me. I don't think that's going to last very long. I bet like yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I agree. Two things. One is like Whatnot was informed that this guy was auctioning stolen packs, and they knew. They replied to the comment. And they didn't care. They didn't stop him. They let him keep going because he had massive traffic on his Whatnot. Like
They
he had
said something
thousands of
about
people
it,
in
like
there.
they responded.
They just didn't care. They didn't take his channel down. They didn't tell him to stop doing it. He just kept running it for like days at a time. Like they didn't care. But you say PSA will flag it. I'm not sure if you remember Shining Fates, the Charizard VMAX. Someone stole them off the production line and sent them to CGC before they released. Maybe it wasn't Shining Fates. No, I think it was Shining Fates. It was the Shining Fates Full Art Charizard Shiny. Someone had stolen a bunch of those before the set had released, and CGC encapsulated them all as like I forget the terminology they put on there, but it was basically like stolen product, and they encapsulated it and gave it a bloody label saying like pre factory release or something. It was wild that they entertained, not even entertained it, but put it in their product. Like I'm sure PSA would, but maybe they wouldn't. I don't know, but it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't understand. Like, I get you get a premium for the packs and all that kind of stuff, but like messing around with like, yeah, dude, like distribution would cut you off forever. Pokemon could take legal action to get like, I I don't know, dude. It is what it.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? The one thing that we haven't seen this boom, that happens every single boom is someone big gets cooked. Like remember, like the company during like 2021 during the pandemic, that company that was not a consignment company, but a middleman grader, and they
Middleman.
sent
Yeah.
and then remember
Mark's
they couldn't
cards,
afford to pay the grading fee. Yeah, Mark's cards, and then there was something else that happened with like another company, and like we haven't seen one of those yet for this boom. And I know that there are people that are doing stuff they're not supposed to, that are operating on like leverage crazy. That I just like, I feel like that's the one mark of this boom that we haven't seen. Like that's the one thing on the bingo card we haven't hit yet, is somebody getting busted for doing something that they're not supposed to. And maybe it's this leak stuff. And I mean, like, it's cool. Like it provides hype, especially like with the Japanese stuff coming out. Like when the Rayquaza gets leaked like a day or two before I put pre-orders up. Like it's cool because people like know what the Rayquaza is going to look like. They get hyped off of it. Sales are good, but sales probably would have been just as good without the Rayquaza leak. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, I don't know how to feel about it, but I just feel like if anything's going to happen, it's going to be this because I don't know. I can't see Pokemon continuing to let this happen. And like the ETB booklets getting photographed and stuff like that. But the other side of it too is like Pokemon owns, and maybe they're doing this intentionally, but it's like now they own the distribution company. Now they own the printing company. They own like all these different steps of the supply chain, but like leaking has only got worse. So I guess like either A, because they're getting so big, it's hard for them to like control it the way that they used to, because it's like, how do you realistically like keep tabs on that many employees? The other side of it, if you want to be like conspiratorial, is like they're doing it on purpose to drive hype. Like that's the other side of it. And like companies have done that in the past. Like companies have done different marketing things to kind of like drive hype that make it seem like it was an accident. Like not exactly the same to the point of leaks, but like Starbucks, for instance. Like, do you guys have Starbucks in Australia or no?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what it is though, right? Like a coffee. Okay. So one of the things that like Starbucks does is they write like your name on the cup. So like you say like, oh, like a latte for Kai, and they write Kai on the cup so that when you get your cup, it's like Kai with like a thumbs up or a smiley face or whatever. And they were intentionally misspelling people's names, because people would say, hey, my name got misspelled, take a picture of it and put it on Instagram. And it was driving all this hype and like creating this viral thing. And people were going in to see if they would like get their name misspelled if they ordered a coffee, right? So like companies do stuff like, but Pokemon is Japanese, and like this does not square to me with like Japanese culture is very like honorable, respectful, all that. So like this doesn't seem like the kind of thing that they would want happening. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways, any other kind of stuff you want to talk about on Market Watch before we get into some of the other topics?
I don't think so. I think everything we've seen is kind of what we predicted, and yeah, I see a bit of a reversal come into the 30th, but we'll see.
All right, so to the title of the podcast, like we were talking about it the other day, and I say this like all the time to Lacey and stuff like that, and she's not, she didn't grow up with Pokemon. She's not like super into collectibles. She definitely keeps me grounded. Anytime I think I might want to start collecting, she's like, for what? Like what? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like who cares? But like this is all so dumb. Like all this is dumb. Like it is like, if you step outside of this world, and most people that are in it, especially if you're watching this podcast or have been following us for like the past 5 or 6 years, if you're this deep in it, chances are like you have not taken a real step back or disconnected yourself from the world of cards and collectibles for a long time. But if you do, and you get that moment of clarity, you realize this is all so dumb. It's insane. Like the amount of money that consistently goes into this stuff, and like that people are pouring like $10,000 slab here, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000. And you're like, dude, you're talking about cars. You're talking about houses. Like you're talking, and look, like I get it. I think this stuff is cool. I'm a seasoned dust lord. I love digging for crazy rare stuff and trying to get it in as high grade as possible. And like, I'm interested in the releases and the art. Like I get it. But this is all so dumb. Like it is just insane. Like this is consumerism, capitalism, just with like the Bane Batman steroid virus just pumped into it. And it's not, and like I don't think it's going away. Like, the title is clickbait for sure, but like I don't think this is going anywhere. I think we're just getting started, especially with the pop culture stuff. But it still seems so insane. And I grew up poor. I grew up with a single mom. No one in my family is really like a collector, so like I didn't really have anybody around me that sort of was super into collecting, whether it was coins or cards or whatever. I had cards as a kid. I enjoyed it. My friends and I like all collected Pokemon. We all played Yu-Gi-Oh! Like I get it, but like at the same time, like what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like this is so, like it's, yeah. I mean, I don't really know how else to kind of like introduce this topic. Like what do you think? What do you think?
I think it's all really dumb, but I think the main thing that's changed is I've always been a collector of stuff. I mean, like people always say collecting is like something you inherit, like it's part of you. Like my dad always like he collected cars and classic cars and antiques and stuff like that. I think a lot of the difference now is yes, people are like collecting, but I think like back when I used to collect video games or like consoles or things like that that I just genuinely enjoyed, I don't think that I and like Tarzos. I've still got like boxes of Tarzos and just random magazine and just stuff that I liked it. But then when I went back and like rebought them, when I bought like my base binders and those sorts of things back in college, like I genuinely don't think I gave it an ounce of thought that this could be an asset or like potentially worth more in the future. Like it was just genuinely putting some money into something that was I could flick through occasionally, or just it was just cool. I think obviously the main thing that's changed now is like this is all just so wildly driven, especially for this generation. Of like a generation growing up in like I say some of the worst financial times. It's really not. It's obviously that's to each their own, but like in terms of like younger people affording houses, like the average younger person affording like a house or a car or going to like a life. So much more of that kind of would have been house money, I guess, is just getting put into these as ways to try and generate wealth or build wealth or keep wealth without getting destroyed by like the traditional market and inflation and things like that, which I think just exacerbates the dumbness. And I think a lot of the dumbness comes from now people having more money than ever, just sloshing it around into just like I think it's all part of the gambling epidemic. Like people just yahooing money into whatever and hoping. Like that is what makes everything so dumb, and I think what props up a lot of the dumbness. But again, I don't. It is stupid, but I'm sure this has happened in markets forever since the beginning of time. Like we might just not be aware of niche markets that have always done this. Like, I mean, I would say that a lot of the crypto markets and NFT markets are inherently way more dumber and have acted more dumb in the last 10, 15 years than this. I think it's always been the same, like classic vintage cars going from $500 sitting in a scrap heap to $200,000. Like it's no different. It's just a different. People might think it's more dumb because you can drive a car. You can't drive a card or whatever. It's maybe it seems more stupid because it's literally a piece of cardboard with manufactured rarity or whatever. But yeah, it's hard to. Yeah, it's hard to rationalize. But
was it difficult for you because like you didn't grow up really like with money either, right?
no.
So like was it difficult? Like obviously like you had a decent like government job and you were doing pretty good, but like obviously like you're making way more money doing cards. Was it difficult for you to sort of accept that like when you started like having real money, like real wealth, and not only just like in the bank account, but like also like tied up in like the things you have, did that like mess with you at all? Like was that difficult to, I don't know, like just to accept growing up like without that, and then all of a sudden like especially like over a short period of time, like it'd be one thing if like, oh, I put away 20 grand every year and it sits in the S&P and it compounds and it earns me interest and all this sort of stuff. But it's like, dude, over the past 5 years, like the amount of wealth that like the two of us have created for ourselves and our families is insane. And like I've created more wealth over the past 5 years than I have like my entire life. And like it's hard for me to deal with. And I know that sounds like, oh, like champagne problems, like, oh, like it's hard for you to be rich or whatever, but like it mentally messes with me, And like when I start thinking about like what like just like what bills are for people and stuff like that, the to use this as like a wealth building tool or to like create a business and make money, like that's great. Like I don't think that's dumb. Obviously, like I'm happy and I'm blessed and all that sort of stuff. What seems insane to me is like the people on the other end of this are the consumers. And I'm like, who the hell are the consumers? Like that is what is crazy to me. And it's like the fact that there is so much demand on the consumption side, on the end user side, that we can even do this at this level, like that consistently messes with me. So like sorry for the sorry for the rant, but like was it difficult for you to accept this, or you just kind of like it is what it is? I know you're like more laid back than I am, but
It
Yeah,
is
like what do you
weird. Like it doesn't. The money. It's to me. It is weird that I can YOLO a card to a grading company and make like a yearly wage of what my parents made by doing one stupid thing. Like it seems all very unfair and dumb. Yeah, it's scary. Like doing this in a space like this is, I find it scary that like how am I how am I doing this? It doesn't make sense and it shouldn't make sense, but it does. And like you just keep writing it until it doesn't. But as you said, like how the demand, the consumer demand it's obviously there. None of us would be able to do this if the demand wasn't there. How much of the demand is being actually propped up by other businesses rather than the consumer is, the question. A lot of, I would say 50% of the people who buy from me are just other businesses, then going on to resell, and half might be collectors. Like I definitely know there's a lot of collectors just buying for their collection. And they'll sit there and buy multiple of something they like or triples or whatever it is. But the other half is businesses. Yeah, it's hard to put into words. Like it shouldn't be the way it is. It obviously is the way it is.
But hold on, like think about this. Like to your point about you're selling to a lot of businesses, and you said people are coming to your stream. They're coming to your stream to buy for their stream. So you're already making money selling to them, and then they're able to turn around and sell it and still make money. You know what I'm saying? So like even if you're just selling to businesses, it's still going to an end consumer somewhere. I didn't mean to cut you off, but like
no, you're right. And that's all like one big cycle, and then that end consumer might be just going to a show and selling it to another streamer for 5% above what they paid. Like it's that big. It's all part of the ecosystem, but what part of that ecosystem has to fall apart for the entire thing to unravel? That's the scary part to me. As someone who's got like the majority of their wealth in this business now, in this space, that I think is stupid and doesn't make sense. Like that's the part that kind of weighs on me. It doesn't, like, I don't sit there thinking about that as much, like at all really, but that's the part that is always kind of like, is it I don't know. Money, again, like Paul said, money's never my bank account. And you said, like, I don't have any money in the bank. I've got like 5 figures of cash saved up. I don't like have an emergency fund or anything like that, because I know like the business can generate some money.
Yeah, because you're buying $40,000 Mario 64s every week.
But again, like that's part of it. That's part of the stupidity. Like I'm part of the dumbness. But yeah, it is all just. I have lost all confidence in a slowdown after the 30th. Peak, I don't think it's coming. 10-second auctions are wild and shows where we're at. Like again, like I do a 10-second auction everything. We do like 150 to 200 auctions a night. And to be able to like, you couldn't dump stuff faster than 10-second auctions. It's a good point. Like the demand is so high for almost anything you could possibly think of. Like, and I'm not even like, a lot of the time we take requests and what people want. Half the time I'm just like, you're going to sit here and you're going to take what I throw at you. And somehow I still get 60 to 150% of market on no matter what I put up. And like the demand there for anything. And to be fair, that's part of like, I curated my inventory of popular Pokemon in high grades and things like that. Yeah, it's unreal. It's unreal that
some of the screenshots you send me for prices you get for stuff, I'm just like, dude, what the hell? And I mean, to Peace Point, like I've lost all. So I was almost willing to admit, oh, I might have been wrong, because the middle of last month, the week leading up to opening the website, I was like, because June was a record month for the wholesale. Like things went crazy. June was like a massive record month. July, and like just the way my brain's wired, I'm like, every month has to be like better than the last. Like I need to constantly be growing. And July came around and I was like, okay, this week's a little slow. I just ended July basically the exact same as what June was. So prices are down on stuff, right? Like boxes aren't, the same price they were last month, but like liquidity is still there. People are buying just as much. And like I'm having new customers come in all the time and like apply for the website and all that sort of stuff. So like Yeah, like I was even willing to be like, oh, like maybe I was wrong. Maybe there is there's literally no summer slowdown at all. Like there's none. The liquidity is still insane. Prices are down, but people are still buying. And while we were talking, I looked it up. Over 1,000 boxes, and like I'm just looking on eBay. I haven't even looked at TCG Player, but over like 1,000 boxes of Pow World have sold in the past few days. Like that's almost like 200 grand. And like some of these listings are for cases and stuff, so you have to factor that in too. But it's just, yeah, man, it's just wild. I'm maybe like I'm holding too much cash right now because we're trying to buy another house, and the closer it gets to winter and we don't find a house, I'm just like I get mad at my and like days like today, like I'm still been investing in stocks, but dude, the market ripped today. Like everything went crazy. Google went crazy. Robinhood went crazy. Amazon went crazy. Like everything went nuts today. The market was up so aggressively, and I'm just like, dude, I'm like, I could have more of this cash, like invest in the market. I should be buying more Pokemon right now because like everything's down. And I think but yeah, it just, it's so hard for me to wrap my head around. And like, I am still so like incredibly bullish, but I'm just like, to the title of the podcast, it's like, you don't know like when you're in a bubble, right? Like, like that's why like bubbles happen because like people think like, oh, this can never stop and all that sort of, and I don't think that we are in a bubble. Like I genuinely don't, but that's also the kind of stuff people say when they're in a bubble, right? I was thinking about it and I'm just like, if this is because I cannot think of a single, like I listen to all these like GOAT hedge fund advisor or GOAT hedge fund managers and like all these insane investors and their stories and their annualized returns, like Peter Lynch running the Magellan Fund and all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, these guys were GOATs. Like they picked all the best companies, they had the conviction, like they crushed it. And they've been outcompeted. Like these are the smartest investors in history, and they've been outcompeted by collectibles, by pop culture collectibles. And if this was such, and I get that like the market is more crazy now than it's ever been, but if this is and has been the most in like quickest way to create wealth, why was this such like a secret for so long? Like why are people just coming around to it in COVID that like, hey, if you put your money in collect, and it's funny because you talk to guys that have been here, you talk to guys that are into coins, or you talk to guys that have been sports cards dealers for 20 years. These guys are millionaires. These guys are all like multi-deca millionaires. Like all these guys I know that run local shops that have been sports cards guys and have been running these LGSs for 15 years. These dudes have like $5 million houses. These guys are balling. Like they knew it made money. And this was back when like you buy Pokemon for 80 from distro and be lucky to sell it for 100, but like collectibles in general like have always just kind of like gone up and to the right. And so it's crazy to me that it's taken so long for people to just kind of like realize that, I guess. And yeah, it's like how did this stay hidden for so long if this is such an insane wealth building tool? You know what I mean? And like, is it going to continue to be that moving forward? Like, yeah, I don't, and maybe it just speaks to human psychology because what we are doing, like what you're doing with like picking video games, like what I've been doing with like production art or some of this other, like what we've been doing for the past 6 years, and even before we got into these more niche categories, both between like the two of us, like we've graded a lot of like pop ones and stuff that like no one's ever graded before, and all that is curation, and there's no sales data for us to go off. So what we're doing is like analyzing what's going on in the market and human psychology and being like, if I put this in plastic, is someone going to like this and pay me a premium for it? And so at that point, it's not even like I know the market, it's I know people. I know what people want. I don't like I don't know if there's this much printed, a chaos rising or whatever, but like I understand the psychology of human beings, and it's not even about like the cards anymore or who prints what or who's buying what on the reprint or whatever. It's about like maybe I'm going off on a tangent.
No, you're 100% right, and like all that made me think of that is exactly how I curate my inventory. It is not like, oh, what's this, like what's the margin on this card? Is this card up or down? What's the trajectory of this card? Is like, would people want this item? And like, it doesn't matter what it is, but like that's exactly how I think about when I curate my inventory. But I mean, to wrap all it up, like, are we in a generation? Are collectibles? And this is a weird one because obviously collecting has been around forever, like probably literally forever. Are we in a generational bubble of the collectibles era? Like, I genuinely would say we probably are. Like, yes, but does that does the generational bubble just extend with the generations, and like you never kind of leave that? Like, at some point, yes, cards are going to be not cool, or collectibles might be not cool, or people will stop caring about it. But I think within that bubble, like, the new generation is just as enjoying it just as much as the old generation. I know people who are 20 that like video games. I know people that are 50 like video games. I know people that are 5 that like cards. I know people that are 60 that like cards. Like, we've got 60-year-olds in our stream. They're buying stuff that they like. It just kind of, that whole pop culture ecosystem, like, it, as long as it kind of keeps translating through new and old generations, which I think it will. Like, I think it is a big bubble, but I think it's so big and so insulated that maybe that's not the definition of a bubble. But as long as that kind of keeps propagating, then, and I mean, video games, I don't think video games are going absolutely anywhere. Like, gaming is not going anywhere. Gaming is the biggest bloody thing there is on the planet. And I think that helps translate to cards and collectibles, and especially if people are consistently able to show that they can build and generate wealth and create businesses and make friends and relationships and communities and all those sorts of things. It's not even about the money in the business, but like, people have communities, people have friends. Like, this is their whole life and ecosystem, and everything they do in life is interacting with other people that are enjoying the exact same thing. And that's not what I think of a traditional bubble looks like. Like, yes, and I go back to like NFTs. Yes, people were creating communities with NFTs and stuff like that, but it was pretty much only around the money. And as soon as that died, those communities, they're not there. Like, for the most part, those communities aren't there anymore. They're not talking every day. They're not going and interacting with the products and the services and stuff every single day. But it doesn't matter what the price of a slab is or a box is. Like, people are going to be interacting in these local card shop communities and online communities and all those sorts of things, regardless of what the market does. And I think that's a good sign that it has like really good fundamentals to like transfer through generations, I think. So
yeah, I mean, like it's different structurally, because if you look at like even other pop culture collectible bubbles, like the comic books in the 90s and why that crashed and stuff, that was the companies getting greedy, right? But like, there wasn't all this like crazy infrastructure and Collecticon and Discords and YouTube channels with millions of followers, and it's, yeah, like I see what you're saying about like the community, and yeah, social media and even YouTube wasn't really a thing 10 years ago. So the sky's the limit for collectibles. Yeah, like
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you even said that you didn't even use YouTube. I've grown up on YouTube. I made like my YouTube account in 2004. I was uploading videos in 2004, 2005. I was part of like communities in 2004, 2005 on YouTube. And then you said like you'd never watched YouTube before. Like, up until like 2 or 3 years ago, you're like, I just never used it. I never had it. But like, being able to create these communities and show off your interest and show your collectibles and show businesses and all that sort of stuff, it's just, and again, social media is only, for better or for worse, social media is only getting bigger and creating the amount of people, like platforms and people and communities that just blow up and grow new communities overnight is crazy. Like, so, well, I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's, yeah.
No, I agree with you. It's just, it's hard to accept. And like, I'm grateful to be doing this, and I'm happy to be doing this. And I think 3 years from now, 5, like when I get really burned out, I'm like, screw it. As soon as this, like, I'm selling or whatever. But I want to build something real for, I don't, I remember sitting in Hawaii and thinking like, back then, like, oh, like this could be a 15 to 20 million dollar business, and thinking like, oh, like that's so far away, and getting there. And now I'm thinking like, even and when you see people do it, like when I saw James hit 50, I was like, whoa, like 50 seems so far away. But I start thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, like if we added this and then this happened and then this happened, like could we hit 50? Like, yeah, possibly, and it just, like, I think that real insane growth can still happen, but it just, I don't know, like this is not like what, like this doesn't fill my cup. Like this takes care of me and takes care of my family, and I love doing this. Like I love the speculation. I love like to was talking about earlier, like I love the human psychology and like analyzing people and trying to predict like what people are going to be into and like what a catalyst is going to be for society that's going to make them interested in XYZ or why certain items are undervalued. Like I enjoy doing that stuff. I really do, but it is not like it's not my life's purpose. You know what I mean? And I want to continue to do this, but I think maybe part of the reason why I come back to like this is also dumb is because maybe like it's just not, and not to like trauma dump or just be like, oh, it's all about me or what, but like I think part of it is like this is not everything to me, you know, and I have to remember that like this is everything to a lot of people, you know, like this is like their community, like their number one, you know, source of enjoyment with or social interaction or whatever. And because maybe I'm not the end consumer for a lot of these items, I just don't have a lot of that perspective. Same thing with like playability, like all these new games coming out. I'm like, it's hard enough for Mason to get stuff to host Pokemon, you know, play nights and maybe Magic and stuff like that. It's like, how is he supposed to provide a space for people to play and all this stuff to give and prize support for for Gundam and Lorcana and you know all this other stuff? Like that seems insane to me, you know. And so like maybe I'm so disconnected from like the day-to-day like infrastructure and stuff like that, and I haven't been to a Collecticon in a long time. And I mean, you're streaming every night, so like you're 6 nights a week, so like you're, you know, interacting with people on a more like direct level, you know, maybe that's part of it too. But like what about you? Like, do you I know you're a little like tired and burnt out right now, but like do you see yourself if things continue the way that, I mean, like both of us are at a point to where like we could sell everything, walk away, and never have to do anything ever again. And that like that's amazing, but like do you see yourself here in 5 years, in 10 years? Like do you see yourself like passing your business off down to your kids if like that's something that they're interested in? Or do you have a point to where you're just going to be like, I'm done, like I've made enough, I'm happy with my life, I want to enjoy my life, like I'm walking away? Like where are you at with it, you know?
The exact same thing. Like a year ago, if you had told me, like literally a year ago, that our business could do $1 million in revenue in a year, like I would have gone, I don't see the path forward to that. But then the opportunity popped up, and yeah, we started streaming, and now it's like, okay, cool, we'll probably do 2 or 3 this year, and then new ideas pop up. It's like, oh, if I did that, that's probably another 5 or 10 a year. Like it's crazy. Like it sounds ridiculous to just throw those numbers out willy nilly, but that's the reality like that we live in. That it's such a big ecosystem that you can make these enormous businesses. Like, and people are doing, new people in the space, and new like 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds are doing like tens of millions of dollars a year, and like and profiting like millions of dollars a year. There's just so much in the space. But like I am just putting everything in that I have at the moment, and I am burnt out, and I'm getting a bit over it. But this is what I chose to do. Like I'm not going to sort of bail on it. I need to try and again regulate like balance, which I keep saying and not doing. I'll try and work on it soon, but I'm working on other projects. I've got visions that and deadlines that I want to hit, and I want to do things, and I do know eventually there will be a point where I get it to the point where it's all set up. Like I need to get people to help me sourcing because I don't have time to source anymore. Obviously that affects the streaming, and then I'm bringing on more streamers, so I got to get more for them, and then I got to manage more streamers and manage more invoices and payouts and buying things and selling things and more accounting. And it's all so encompassing. So, and I guess, and it makes sense. It's like, that's why companies hire more people to do more things, because obviously one person can't do so much. So I am trying to build it out so there's less for me to do. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I do like, I mean, I'm doing this full time. So like, I do have like retirement goals, like pretty early retirement goal, like pretty aspirational retirement goals. Like I'd love to be retired by 40, like semi-retired. Like I'm going to still be doing, I don't see myself not doing some flipping and collectibles and buying and selling and grading. Like if I could just go back to, spending an hour or two a day buying cards to grade and, making not passive, but, doing those sorts of plays that are less stressful than running a bloody multi-million-dollar company type thing, that would be ideally like where I'd get to. I've got a goal for that, and I can see the path forward, and it's just executing on it basically. So I do want to create a company that can be sort of self-sustaining as much as it can be, even if someone else is running it or other people are doing it. And the people, doing it are taking more of the profits, which is what's happening at the moment. Like a lot of my profits are going to a lot of these staff that I'm hiring and things like that. But yeah, I'd love to be able to create a business so if my kids want, they don't have to go to a corporate job if they enjoy this space and want to do stuff like this. And I think a lot more kids in the future will. Like, I don't know who I was talking to the other day, but they're just. Oh, it was my brother-in-law, and he's just like because in his space he likes outdoors and camping and motorbikes. He's like, I've got 3 friends who just started like 4-wheel drive YouTube channels, and they're making like millions of dollars a year doing like vlogs of camping and tutorials and social media. And he's like, it's so crazy that jobs are different. I think jobs are so different now than they were 10 years ago. I think social media and all these sorts of platforms have just completely like deconstructed what like the normal like stereotypical job would be. And there's just so many spaces that you can create businesses and wealth and entrepreneurship and stuff like that. Like he was just talking because he didn't understand like the scale. He knew I was doing cards full time. When I kind of told him the scale, he was just like, it's just wild that he's seeing all people in every different space that there's people being able to do crazy things. It's wild. But no, I would love to create a business that's sort of, if the kids want to run it one day, they can. But it is all crazy and it's all very dumb. But we're gonna keep running it for the long haul. We'll see.
Well, like if you, so like let me ask you. So this time, 2030, if you're running like a $50 million business, are you at that point like, yeah, I want to like keep growing this and do this until I can hand this down to my kids? Or are you like foot off the gas? I'm going to go do what I want.
I would hope by that stage, like if you had to ask me 5 years ago, like what net worth I would need to hit to retire and never work again, I'm probably there. But the life has changed so much from 5-10 years ago.
You're for sure there. Are you kidding me? Because think about all the money you have in inventory. If you sold everything down to 0 right now, like, dude, you could like retire and never do like you'd never have to do anything again for the rest of your life.
But yet I'm still doing something. Like, it's hard when the goalposts keep changing, and like if you can see more goalposts in front of you that's going to like exponentially do more, it's so hard to say no to that and not keep going on. But there has to be like enough has to be enough at some point. But it's more just like I would rather continue exploring opportunities and not like have regrets about not trying something. I think more than anything else. Like I don't want to be working in 10 years. Like I want to, when my kids are like at that age where they're kind of a bit older and we can do like go traveling or do more things, and they're at school, like when we can do more adult things with them, like that's when I want to have a bit more time to be able to do that sort of stuff. So I have goals of when I want to really have the foot off the brake, but at the moment it's not, kids are at school or kids are at home. Well, both me and Casey are at home. It seems irresponsible to stop. And that's just shifting goalposts in an ever-changing society. It's hard, but yeah. What about yourself? Because you're already like, I would love to be like kind of, doing 8 figures in revenue a year type thing. But are you looking to like, do you have more on the horizon that you want to keep expanding? Like, obviously, like if you just continued what you're doing now and didn't grow a single thing or didn't change a single thing and only did like exactly what you're doing now and maybe even a lower scale, like again, you'd be sweet in any point in time. Like what's keeping you going? Like, why do you want to keep driving on?
Dude, honestly, like a lot of it is just like growing up poor, I guess. And like, and that's not to say like I had, I'm sure people out there have had vastly worse experiences than I have, but like, I just don't ever want to go back there is part of it. And I also just like, I'm always thinking about business, dude. Like I'm always thinking about, just like how to grow, how to expand different opportunities. Like my favorite thing in the world is scheming. Like part of what sucks about this is it's so isolating. Like this business is so isolating, and like the community is cool. Like you know, you can talk to, like, I'm going to Rusty's, and so I'll see like Thrifty and Ray and some other people, and I'm sure like we'll have good conversations and stuff. But like the business itself, or at least like the way I have it set up, is like so isolating. And I'm lucky enough, I guess we're both lucky enough, that like we get to work with our significant others, which is great. But like my favorite thing is scheming with other people. Like when we've talked about things before, it's like, okay, you can do this and I can do this. Like, how can we come together and create something that's like bigger than the both of us, or bigger than like what we could each do individually? Like that is my favorite thing to do in the world. And I haven't really been able to do a ton of that over the past 6 years. I've tried, I've worked with people a little bit here and there, and it's been cool. But like for the most part, like a lot of this has just been doing it by myself. And so like I kind of miss that, But I think the next steps, and like I'm hoping to make like content around it. But it's like, dude, like I haven't even really like taken content seriously ever. It's like if I took content really seriously and was putting out like 3 to 5 videos a week, and I'm the size that I'm at right now with like zero social media following. Like where could I be if I even had like 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, 5,000 subscribers on YouTube, right? And like I was doing more with like advertising and outreach and all that sort of stuff. And so I think about that, and then I think about like, okay, well, if I got like distribution and got like a whole like warehouse staff and all this sort of stuff, and started getting English product, at a high clip, like, and there's vending machines. Like I've thought about that before. I'm like, there's affluent areas that are very close to me that I could put vending machines in movie theaters and all this sort of stuff, and hire staff to like stock those. And like, what would that be for like, revenue every, like, there is so much opportunity. And yeah, I mean, like at a certain point, it's like enough. But like, I don't know what I would do. Like, I think for my mental health, I need to be doing something. I've been trying to like enjoy life, and like, like we go on vacation and go on date night more and go out to dinner and stuff like that. But like, I don't think that I could just, like, I've heard Alex before say like when he retires, he's done. He's just going to go play golf every day. And I respect that, but like I can't do that. I
I
don't think
can't
I
do
like I
that.
have to have something that's like mentally stimulating, that's like keeping me going. Like that's just how I'm wired. It's not about the money. I mean, the money's great, but like it's not about the money anymore. It hasn't been about the money for a while. It's about like the safety and like keeping like my, yeah, like my mental good, I guess. But like what would you be doing if you could do like whatever you want? Like, does this, I guess like two part, like, does this do it for you? And like if not, like what would you be doing? Like if you had like an ideal career, um or just like an ideal use of time, like what would it be?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, obviously, I loved my old job until I found a new opportunity of something else I could do, and then I didn't, type thing. Like, I don't know. I've never really had like a career. I've never had like career aspirations. If that's like, might be sound a bit sad or anything like that. Like, I've never had the desire to make my way up the. I could have like gotten a manager job where I was and moved up the ranks and became a, top, moved out of the engineering and become like a manager of the engineers. I had no aspirations to ever do that. Um, yeah, I just kind of cruise in most facets of life. Like, as long as I'm doing something and not hating life, like, I'm pretty happy. Like, I don't specifically have something that I want to do. I think the most enjoyment I've had in the hobby was like the more casual buying stuff and grading, and like that process of finding something great and grading it and 5-10x your money. Like, that was just, that's the most fun. The business building is way, yes, it's, you're going to probably end up making more money and things like that, but it's so much less enjoyable than like the fun part of it. And I'd love to be able to, like, to what Pete kind of said, is people like at this kind of revenue we're doing, like, you need to build out a corporate structure where you're doing less so you can kind of do the stuff that you want. And that's what I really am trying. My aspirations are just to get really rich, but like it's true. Like, I'm trying to work towards this. Like, um, I know the the flow process of my business, and I've now, like, as I said before, like, I was really worried about having other people stream for me. But now I'm like really confident I've got other people stream for me. I'm super happy with how that's running. Um, And so now I need to replace the next thing I do. Like at the moment, I need someone to help me source, because at the moment I don't have the time to source, and now the inventory is getting a bit stagnant, and at some point we're going to run out of inventory. So like trying to replace that part of it. I've got an accountant to do that part of it. So I'm trying to build a structure where I can do more of the things I like doing. Yeah, I agree with. Oh, sorry, that was the original thing Peak said. Like build a company that runs up, and you could, like with your business at the moment, like the website obviously was a massive replacement of your time, which is great. You could functionally step away from the wholesale and have someone else do that. You'd obviously have to put an enormous amount of trust in them because if you stuff it up, cool, you stuff it up, you're going to kick yourself and go, that sucks. If someone else stuffs up your business to some degree, you're going to be much more pissed off than if you did it yourself. That's just how it is. Like, it's the same loss, but obviously you're going to care a lot more if someone else did it. So it is really tough building but that's at these levels, that's kind of what you have to do. And I am working towards that. That is like my goal. Like realistically, that is my goal. That is my endpoint, is to try and build a business that can functionally pay me a salary with minimal work, so I can do family and life and health and all those other things. Start working on my house. I got a wall I put up 3 years ago that hasn't been painted yet. Like those sorts of things that, like, it's so negative EV for me to go and paint that wall, because I've got other things to do to get me to the goal where I have the time to do that. But you got to be really careful that doesn't then go on forever, and you never get that time, and then you die.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. Like even now, like there are plenty of houses that we could buy that are beautiful houses, but a lot of them, the key like reason that we're not buying it is because it doesn't work for the business. Like we need something that's like going to work. And it's like, if that wasn't a consideration, and I've even looked at properties where it's like, I'll just build a warehouse. Like I'll put up a warehouse on, but like between like permitting and running plumbing and like all like the amount of time that takes, and then not being able, like trying to like run the business from the house that's not set up for the business while this structure is being built. And like permitting is not something that happens like overnight. You know what like I don't know how it works in Australia, but like you have to go to the county, you have to pay money, you have to wait like weeks, sometimes months to get like permits back.
6 to 12 months here.
Yeah, exactly. So like it could be years theoretically. Like if I wanted to do it right, you know what I mean? Like to have a building that has, and especially if I'm gonna have employees, like you need to have like plumbing and like a restroom and all that sort of stuff in there. So yeah, like but a lot of the houses were like it has to work for the business. Like we have to have like storage space, like we have to have a room to like work out of and stuff like that. And I wish that wasn't maybe like so much of a consideration, but it's also like, this is just kind of like where we're at. This is what we have to do. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like it's crazy. And like, I'm glad, like selfishly, like I wanted to have this conversation with you because like, I don't get to have this conversation with a lot of people that are doing this at like a high level and see where people's heads are at and like what people want. And honestly, like, people don't really talk about this a lot on YouTube, like what their end game is, or like, like what their goals are and stuff like that. And, like I think, yeah, it's just interesting. Like you get so attached to like people or the character that they play, but it's like, who are you like as a human being? Like, what do you like actually want out of life? Like outside of like Pokemon YouTube, you know what I mean? So anyways,
it's a good conversation. And I think people listen to this and they will take, I know when I listen to, like over the last couple of years, when I listen to conversations like this that are a bit more higher level than how cool is this Kamiya art type thing, it is like really useful to a lot of people. So I think hopefully it is worthwhile, I think, to be able to like have these conversations and talk more higher level and more life fundamentals and things like that. Is always I've gotten a lot out of that type of conversation. So
yeah, and like
anyway, back to Destined Rivals reprints. No,
yeah. I mean, well, I was just gonna say, like, even like when we were hanging out and like just like eating kebab in the middle of Tokyo and eating the kebab sandwiches, opening DBZ, like, you know what I mean? Like that is infinitely like so much more fulfilling than, like you said, like the business and the grind and all that sort of stuff. It is like those like having fun, that kind of stuff. You don't think about it. Like when you're like out to dinner, you're spending time with your wife or whatever, like you don't really think about this. And like all the But like when you're so plugged into it all the time, like that's when you get into like maybe the unhealthy, or at least like me, maybe like I get into the unhealthy side of it. Like, it's like, oh, like comparing yourself to people, like wanting to, do more than this guy, or whatever. And ultimately, like when you get outside of that and disconnect and just sort of think about like what you actually want out of life, and like, spend time with people you love and all that sort of stuff and are present in those moments, I feel like that is, yeah, I don't know, like that is so much more fulfilling. But thinking about longevity, like you already have kids, like I don't know, like I think it would be cool, like to potentially like have something that I could leave, not to like force it on, like if they don't want to do this, like that's fine too. But I think it would be cool to like have a business that it's like, okay, well, if you want to be a part of this, you can, So that's why I was kind of interested to ask you about that too, like because I know your kids are like, I mean, they're kids, but like they love Mario, they love Pokemon. Ash is super dusted and loves like all sorts of like dusty Pokemon. So it's like, oh, I'm very bullish on his future in the hobby for sure. So all right. Anyways, let's move on to, actually let me talk about this really quick, because this is very pertinent to what's been going on really. So Commandment 6, as you guys know, if you've been watching the podcast for the past 5 episodes, we do one commandment every episode. And I was thinking about it this week and I was like, man, like what's the commandment going to be? Don't get greedy. Don't get greedy. and this, so to the Pal World point, let me tell you guys a little story about a TCG called MetaZoo, right? When MetaZoo first came out, as some of you probably already know, but maybe some of you don't, when MetaZoo first came out, it was a Kickstarter. It was not a fully funded Kickstarter. And so because of that, the Kickstarter booster boxes that they gave out to people with the exclusive little Kickstarter stamp, I think they only printed like 500 of them or something like that. They were like rare, and because of that, when MetaZoo sort of caught a little bit of a bid and it started popping off the first time, I think those boxes got up to something crazy, like $10,000-$15,000 or something insane like that, right? I don't know what a MetaZoo Kickstarter box is at right now, but I imagine it's probably like $500 to $1,000 max. It's like right. Fast forward to MetaZoo 2.0, when they rebooted the brand, there was chase hits inside of like X amount of cases. I don't know if it was like 1 in every 24 cases or whatever, but every so often you would open a case and you would get a booster box out of it that was an alternate art booster box. So the art on the booster box was different and it was signed, like it was hand signed. It was actually really nice by the artist that did the art on the booster box. At the time, I sold the 2 boxes that I pulled out of my allocation for $3,500 each, right? Just to put it into perspective, you were getting those from distribution for $60 a pop, like is what you were paying per box, right? So you're paying for pretty much like your entire allocation if you hit one of these boxes, right? Again, $3,500. And at that time, people were telling me like, oh, you should hold it, sell one, hold one. And I was just like, dude, like what are we talking about here? Like you saw what happened with Kate. Like what do you think? Like, and it wasn't anything to like, I don't believe in Charlie or I don't believe in Squid. It wasn't that at all. It was just like, I'm not an idiot and I'm not going to get greedy here. I just opened a case and made $3,500, right? And now I looked up last night because I was thinking about this. Those boxes, like recent solds, are like $800 to $900. Now it's like not, it's 30% of the value, and like that's still insane. The fact that it's $800 to $900 is still crazy to me. Bottom line, you should have just sold it for $3,500, right? And back to the Kickstarter point, you should have sold it for $10,000 to $15,000. So I look at things like Pal World, right? And I can't say anything with 100% certainty, but I look at like what's happening with the boxes right now, and you're paying like $40 to $45 from distribution. They're selling for $175, regardless of what the reasoning is, regardless of like how popular this game is on Steam and all that sort of stuff, or whatever narrative you want to throw at it. Don't get greedy. You 4x'd your money. Take that money and run. Like, do not get greedy, because even if it goes up, great, you missed some gains. But if it goes down, you're going to feel like an idiot because you had it. It was there. You won the game and you got greedy. And to me, I would rather miss out on a little more upside than have the ability to sell and then feel like an idiot because I didn't sell and I'm selling on the way down. One of the first things I ever learned when I got into this at the very beginning, back when we were all in the same Discords together, this was when I was buying the Marvel cards, and they like 10 to 20x in like a month. And I asked this guy, his name was Jason. I can't remember what his like screen name is, but he was like this big older like sports cards guy. And he'd been in the industry for a while. And I was like, should I sell? I don't know. Because I was brand new to TCGs, to the hobby, to all this sort of stuff. And this stuff 10x'd out of nowhere. I had a thesis around it. I was like, this would be the catalyst, whatever. This stuff feels undervalued. It's numbered. And it 10x'd. I remember asking him, I was like, do I sell now, or like, is there more upside? Like, am I early? Like, now that there's attention on it, is it going to go up higher? And he goes, you always want to sell on the way up the ramp. You never want to sell on the way down the ramp. And that stuck with me. And have I missed out on like a little bit of upside here and there? Sure. But applying that mindset to, or that framework to decision making has been infinitely plus EV for me. So that's sort of like my intro to it. What do you think?
It is so hard to execute on. Even like as thus, I'm sure you still have hesitations on doing it. It's still in your head that like, oh, this could keep going up. It's so hard to do. I still do a bit of both. Like I'm still probably too greedy on some things and don't sell quick enough. Like I said before, like I just watched again Armored Mewtwo's run from 500 to 2500. Didn't sell them all at 2500. Not that I had planned on doing that. Not that I needed to do that. I've still like I like having good inventory. But then I watched that all the way run that back down to 1300, and I was like, well, now I mentally can't sell that until it goes back up there again. But then on the opposite side, like those Chinese arcane promos that we made the play on, I held all mine back, and I told you that I was like, I'm holding on mine back because I do think this has a potential another 10x in the future, and we just hit that. And now and now Riftbound is bigger than ever, and I think that, and it's hard because I think that this attention that it's now getting is establishing the market, and I think that will give it legs for the next 5. I'm putting my thesis is I think Riftbound, as long as they don't, I get a lot of it. They're doing the collectability right. As long as the game stays good, which I've got no real overview on, I think this market now is giving it legs for the next 5 to 10. Hopefully, that's my thesis. But I still, as I said, like these Riftbound promos that we're in for 30 a piece, like we're in for free because we sold so many already. You know, we're in for 30 a piece every day now. I'm still selling for $500, $700, $1,000. Someone just came and offered me $3,000 for my last Jinx. And I said no, because it's my last one. But I should sell that. But I have been selling a lot of them. I think they will still have more legs, but I'm just so far up on those ones that I'm just going to then return that money to something else. But so that is one thing I have been really good on, is selling those, even though I think that me selling them high is I think it is probably a good sign that that space will go on. But I do struggle to sell on the ramp up in a lot of aspects. I do miss a lot of boats, but I'm not in the place where that affects the business, I guess, at all. Whether that makes it right or wrong, you know, it's each to their own, I guess. But no, I've been trying to take profits more on things that I had intentionally bought to spec on to make money on. So that's one good example where I was, but yeah, definitely am still greedy with a lot of things and not selling quick enough. And streaming makes it a lot easier. Like a lot of what we do is just sort of churning like the $1 to $100 kind of things. But I think a lot of that is just like the euphoria of the market in general. Like people never like. Yeah, it's like the mentality of selling too early hurts, but then I guess the mentality of not selling and then watching it go back down probably hurts more. He's really finding a balance. Yeah, Kai, fellow king of selling Japanese. Yeah, I mean we're all in the same boat. Peak, me, you, retro. Like a lot of these people is some of the things I see, like Uyama's Pikachu is still the one that absolutely haunts my nightmare. As I said, I sequential 4 of them in 10, sold it for $1,400, $1,500 USD, the sequential 10s or 4 of them, and now that's like a $11,000 promo. But like that's just still part of it. But yeah, it's but at the time that was a really good come up for what it was. And it's just, you know, you can't predict stuff like that. But it's more like those cards weren't moving. I guess the difference is like, yes, I sold a lot of stuff cheap, but the market wasn't going up at the time. It was just kind of, that was the play. You find something to degrade, you make your margin and then you sell. Like there was no massive market shift, where I guess when you're watching the market shift up, it's a different, like you're playing again in a different ballfield. Like I think I would agree. You know, those prismatic, the ones that Earn gave us, the prismatic premium poster collection ones, the Umbreon and the Espeon, I got greedy in them. I priced them too high and I've watched them drop 50%, and now I'm selling them 50% above the top. I'm probably going to do the exact same thing with the Lucario Gardevoir 10s when they come back eventually. Like, I think you need to be more aggressive selling on a lot of the modern stuff that you know is at PSA.
Well, especially when the margin is
so
insane.
big.
And like,
Yeah,
yeah, and like,
I had no reason to be greedy on those because I bought the pairs off him for $30. I'm in the raws for 15 and the grading for $13.99 or whatever. There's absolutely no reason I shouldn't be taking any market price that's available to me, and yet I still do it. I'm experienced and I still do it. It's just a
well, to provide a little bit of nuance so that this is helpful for people that are like at, you know, earlier stages in their business journey, like what is a good decision for you now and like what affects your business now is vastly different, just because like you have more money, you have more inventory, you have more outlets, all that sort of stuff. But if you're somebody that's doing 5 figures annualized, like maybe cracking 6 figures annualized, like this matters like a lot more, you know. And we both sold things too early and it hurts, like for sure, especially like cool stuff that you really liked. And it's like, oh man, but like at the time, like look at what it's built. Like it's built this insane business, you know. And like with the Riftbound stuff, I was way less convicted on it than you were. And for me, I was just like, dude, we're selling Jinxes for $700. We're in these cards for, like you said, for like, I think we were in for like $24, $25 raw, plus like grading was, you know, and I think we graded a lot of it. The girls, I think we graded at like 40 or something, but everything else we graded at bulk, which was like 13 or $15. So we're in for like $40 on Victor, Heimerdinger, and Warwick and stuff. But to me, I'm like, dude, this is like, I was like happy to make like $20, $30 a card because that's what I was used to coming out of like 2023 and all that sort of stuff. So when we're selling these cards that we're in for like 60, $70 for $500 to $700, I'm like, let's dump these like as soon as possible. You know what I mean? Because that, you know, and obviously, like looking back in hindsight, like if we would have, but we would have waited what, 2 years, a year and a half now to get to this point to where it's like, oh well, now they're going crazy, and it's like, what have you done with that money over the course of that time? Like you've built an insane streaming, but you're the number one streamer in Australia, right? Like you're probably like one of the number one like TCG businesses in Australia. So it's, yeah, like I don't know. Like I think for people, I think, and I think too, people when they're starting out, they think like every play matters so much that I have to get like every last bit out of it. And to me, it's just like, just keep it rolling. Just keep it rolling. Like take your profit and keep it rolling. You know, like you're always going to look back and say, oh man, like I sold that too early. But I like, there's plenty of cards that I sold that I'm like happy I got out of them when I did, because they got cut in half, you know. And I'm like, who bought this at this price? And then it got cut in half. So like there's plenty of things. And I think it kind of evens out. It obviously is going to feel worse. It's going to feel worse when you sell early than it's going to feel better that you sell at the top, right? Like you're not going to get like the same level of affirmation to sort of like even it out. But yeah, I really think that like if you go in and you have expectations around whatever play it is you're making and you hit that profit, take it, you know. And if you have deep inventory of that item, so and you think the market is moving up and you're selling out like very quickly, you know, maybe try pushing the price up a little bit on the next one, and see what happens. But yeah, don't get greedy. Do not sell down the ramp. Like to me, like that is the worst feeling. And especially when you're building your business and eventually like you get to the point when you have more capital, when you have more inventory, that you can take more risk and you can try speculating and see like, hey, maybe like I don't need to sell this, like I can set this one back and see what happens, and like maybe it goes up, maybe it goes down, whatever. But like when you're starting out and when you're building your business, like you have to keep that wheel turning. And like, you know, I remember you were grading like the Maggie promos or whatever, and I don't know what those are at now. I don't know if Yu-Gi-Oh's like doing well or whatever, but I feel like you probably sold a lot of those at like all-time highs, because I remember they came down to like $60 in a PSA 10, and at one point they were what, like $300. So it's like if you would have held on to that card because you're like, oh, it's Dark Magician Girl, it's an exclusive promo, all this sort of stuff, you would have lost 80% of the value. You know what I mean? Like versus just turning those cards over and over and over and over and over again and making your margin. So that's where I'm at. And I think more people now are greedier than ever because they're used to these insane margins. They're used to things coming in and then immediately going up in value. And, you know, our businesses were built off of a lot of the time making $20 to $50 per card if they came back in a PSA 10 and just doing that over and over and over. And so I think like level setting and stuff like that might be healthy. So yeah, what do you think?
That card's $500 now.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, yeah. And again, like if you're doing this long term and you're planning on doing this thing, like you have to just make your set margins on your plays. And if the market changes and goes up, you need to adjust for that sort of thing. Like you'll get the upsides in some markets, you'll get the downsides. You shouldn't really ever have any downsides in markets. Even if the market's going down, if you've got grading plays out, unless you're rushing ultra modern. I've never had any grading plays where like I've sent out a card at bulk and it's come back and I haven't profited on it. Like, for example, that Ascended Heroes Premium Lucario and Gardevoir. Those PSA 10s were selling for $750. Like that's a 12, that was a $10, $12, $15 card. I don't know the buyers are at $750 for that card. But as I said, like I sent that at bulk. I sent that at 15 or maybe 20, whatever it was at the time. Yes, I'm going to miss out on tens and tens because I've got hundreds of them there. I'm going to miss out on tens of thousands of dollars of what could have been. I mean, at the top price, it's probably $100,000. But when it gets back, I'm still going to be able to, make 50, $100 on the 10. So like that's the way I've structured it. I'm not upset that card has dropped 90, probably 80, 90% in a 10 because my plan was I'm just executing on the plan that what I was planning on doing with it regardless. So being able to like have that sort of conviction as well and not get stressed out about those sort of market shifts. If that was the plan, that's still what's going to happen. I think there's a 0% chance I come out negative on that sort of play when you make smart buys and make smart plays and things like that. So yeah. And by the time that comes back, maybe I'm like, the market's probably already flooded with those. I actually have no idea. But I will just sell with the market and I'll be less, like I'm going to be less greedy with that. I'm going to sell at lowest list because I hope I'll have deep quantity and I'll just adjust with the market because the inbuilt profit will be there. And I've learned to do that. That's not a card I think is going to, or has a good chance of going up again in the near future. Maybe, yes, that card goes up in 4 or 5 years or something like that. But you shouldn't be looking at that sort of time frame if you're in your business or we have smaller capital and things like that. You should just try and churn your margin in the here and now. Yeah. Which is a different point, but yeah, don't get greedy. You'll ultimately come off a lot better if you just stay with the market and don't think about what could be. I think.
Yeah. Well, and also like don't, it's easy when like you see all these people doing all this different stuff, different TCGs and stuff to like feel FOMO a little bit, but like maybe that kind of goes into like don't get greedy too. It's like, dude, just stay in your lane, stick to what you know. It's okay that other people are making money that you're not making. Like that's totally okay. So
it's hard. Maybe that's I still get FOMO seeing other people do stuff and make plays in other spaces. Like you can't earn pulled like the literal best chase card you get from Riftbound today. Opened a case, pulled the best SIG, and he's like, yeah, it's probably going to black label. It's like a $40,000 black label. And it's like, damn, and you can't like let that affect what you're doing. But there is an infinite amount of things to do, and don't get caught up in trying to spread too wide. I think really stick with what you know and just keep rocking with what works, what works for you, until you've got the funds or the opportunity or the time to make speculation in other markets or other plays and things like that. And like it comes back to like I do not rush grade modern promos. There is so much money in sending off cards at higher tiers and making insane amounts of money. I do not participate in that space at all because it's a bit slower for me. I'm not going to be first to market regardless. And I've just never made that part of my business model. And I've never been stunted because of that. I've just done it the way I do it and I continue to do it the way I do it. So do I get FOMO seeing first partner 10 sets sell for $10,000? Sure, but it's like, does that mentally affect me at all? Knowing that, I could have done that? No, not really. Like I'll send mine off in a year's time when the grading's 30 and I'm sure I'll still, make a 50% margin on my cost. Like it's just play in the space that you know and understand, I think, and don't try to get FOMO. And went a bit off topic on greedy, but it all comes around.
I get FOMO all the time from like you sending me stuff that you're doing or whatever, and I'm like, I should be spending, like even now, like I bought a bunch of Rayquazas because I'm like, the card's sick. It's probably going to be pretty expensive in a PSA 10 and stuff, but like Should I be doing that? No. Like I should be making like more content, building out the wholesale, like doing stuff like that. Like I should not be trying to like rush grade SARs. Like I should, that's just dumb. Like I should not be doing that. But like I'm doing it because I feel FOMO and I haven't done it in a long time, and so I feel like I need to be doing something, even though I don't. Like it's monotonous to kind of stay in your lane, or like you with the video games. It's like I love video games. I've been a gamer my entire life. So when you started to get into it, I was like, oh, like I kind of want to like follow you in. I want to do this too. Should I be doing it? Like, no, because I don't know as much as you do. Probably like I don't know as much as you do, and I'm late, So like that's another part of it too. But like it sucks. Like it's like, oh, I want to be involved. Like I want to be doing something fun. And so I've been trying to scratch that itch by buying like the Kingdom Hearts promos and like different DBZ slabs and stuff like that. But yeah, ultimately, is that the best use of money or time? Like probably not. Like I have no business buying a bunch of these Rayquazas and you know, yeah. Anyways, all right. Last topic, really quick, and then we're gonna get into make the case. We've been going for a while. Fall rebound.
Kind of touched on this already. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think? I'm gonna get water really quick. You can start this one off.
Yeah, I think just kind of reiterating what we said earlier in the stream. I think a lot of money is sitting on the sidelines and either sitting on the sidelines or spilling over into other TCGs and stuff like that. I think as soon as, and I'll say it again because it'll get a clip that with a lot of negative posts on it. I genuinely think this is the best looking set that they've ever released. I think the market's going to eat it up. I think it's going to be popular. Look how popular Celebrations is for how like genuinely lackluster of a set it is. It's like 62 cards including promos. Like it is small. Most of them are like 4 of them are like Lunala and Cosmog and Cosmoem, and it's on the scheme of things, it's a pretty terrible set. It's reprints and then pretty dud arts. And look how popular it still is. Like I still sell 5 to 10 celebrations packs a stream at $60 a pop, because that's what market is. And people still want to open it. Like I cannot imagine what the demand for 30th is going to be. And at the end of the day, like it's not going to come to fruition in 3 to 6 months after the release, maybe not 18 months, maybe not 24 months. It will be probably the most invested in, opened, speculated on set ever. And I kind of stand by that. It will be. I mean, I don't see it not being. Every SKU they're making looks great.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
What's not to understand? Sorry, my Google just yelled at me. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I think you're going to see a lot of money flood back into the market, into the ecosystem of people rush getting all these promos, buying the packs. The stream's going to go crazy. People want to spend their money. Don't get that twisted. People are frothing at the mouth to spend their money, which is like we're both saying. We're just you've got the money. We're just spending it on just other crap. People just want to spend their money on, and I think they want to spend their money on that. And I think you're going to see that. I think you're going to see a rebound. Not that the market's in turmoil now anyway. Everything that's dropped is the market's fine. I'm seeing like overall lower prices across the board on most of the stuff, but saying that the cost of goods is also lower because everything's lower. But our revenue is like we're adding more streams because of that. Everything is, and our viewership is going up. Our viewership hasn't dropped off at all. We're still averaging like 40 to 70 viewers on most streams. Like it's pretty solid, and we're actually pretty small. Like a lot of the other bigger streamers on eBay Live in Australia, yes, they're doing more rip and ships or singles, stuff like that. They might have between 50 and 200 viewers. When the big guys get on, they'll have 500 viewers, things like that. But I'm seeing business still trickle up, whether that's a function of like the amount of time we're putting in or stuff like that. But I think people are just waiting, and people in streams say that like, oh, I'd love to buy more, but kind of just waiting because I really want to buy a lot of something else. So I assume you agree. I think we're in the same boat.
Yeah, I think like if you think about just outside of like cards and collectibles and stuff like that, it's the 8th month of the year. What do you think that you should be doing right now? Like loading up on good inventory for the holidays. Like that to me just seems so obvious. And I think right now, again, going back to the people are looking for everybody else to be hyped to sort of like affirm their decision making. To your point about the 30th, there's not going to be a, I mean, there probably is because it'll get clicks, but there's not going to be realistically a single person that is going to not be saying that the 30th is like amazing, it's fun to open, the cards are sick, all that sort of like that is going to be like the affirmation of all affirmations. Like everybody is going to be piling into that, having fun with it, ripping it, grading it, all that sort of stuff. So when people realize that like Pokemon is cool again because people are all off into this other stuff and trying to catch like a quick buck and all that sort of stuff. So I think multiple things could happen. I think one, a lot of this money could like die out pretty quickly. Like I think, Gundam and like all this other stuff. It's not to say that these games might not like be around or in existence like a year from now, but all of these, like it was expensive to have $1,000 chase card in Pokemon. And now you've got $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 chase cards in all these other TCGs as well. And like that to me is yeah, like that kind of stuff is a little like, is liquidity there infinitely? Like no, like Umbreon VMAX, Moonbreon is going to sell at the same price 100 times, 500 times a day. But like, are these Gundam chase cards and are these like Lorcana chase card going to sell at that volume? Like, no, like I don't think so. And so I think money is going to come back into Pokemon around the 30th, and there's going to be a lot of people that are sitting and thinking like, man, I had a chance to buy a lot of this stuff and I didn't because I was scared or, I was unsure if the market had another leg lower or whatever. And now we're in the middle of the holiday season and I feel like a dingus for like not loading up on this stuff or not being involved. And that's the other thing too, is like, you never know when things are going to turn. So like if you're not, and we've talked about this like before in other podcasts, but like if you're not constantly staying involved, you're going to miss it. You cannot selectively jump in and out of this and expect to be successful and build something meaningful long term. You can't jump from Pokemon to Gundam to Lorcana to Pal World to Riftbound to whatever and not stay constantly involved in Pokemon. And then when Pokemon, rips again or is the main center of attention again, come back in and just be a winner. Like that's not how it works. So I do think that going into the fall, it's not to say every item that's come down 20, 30%, every PSA 10, single, whatever, is going to go back to all-time highs. But liquidity is so strong right now that if like narrative shifts on top of like what's happening with the 30th, like that is going to be so nuts. And outside of this, like markets ripped today. Like the stock market is ripping. And like not to get political, like I don't know what we're doing in Iran and stuff like that. But when I heard like the rumors like, oh, we're gonna put boots on the ground, I was like, oh, it's time to buy, because like the market was like bled for a couple days or whatever. And I was like, I bet you wake up Monday and it's green. And dude, today it was insane. So it's like if the stock market stays strong going into the 30th, they drop the 30th, it's yeah, I really think it's a perfect storm. And I think a lot of people are gonna miss it. And I've been buying garbage from my distributor and a bunch of random stuff trying to build spend because I want a little bit of all those SKUs. You know what I mean? And like I haven't really been buying like a ton of sealed product to sit on. I want to buy a ton of the 30th. Like I think and even outside of the fundamentals and the set looking good, the product looks sick. Like the booster bundles look nice. The booster pack looks nice. Like the art they show, it's so much better looking than Celebrations. So I don't know, like not to hyper shill it with you or whatever, but like I think it's one of those things. It's like when 151 was $50 a box in Japanese, and everybody's like, it's so obvious, like it's the obvious play, blah blah blah, and a certain percentage of people did it. This is one of those times where it's like it is obvious, it seems brain dead, and people are going to galaxy brain themselves out of it and say, well, everybody else is doing it, so I don't want to do it because like I'm a hipster or whatever. It's like, dude, just do it. Like this is the most obvious thing. So yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I think a lot, as I said, like money's waiting to go into it. It will bring the euphoria back. People will get more involved again. They'll enjoy it more again because it's in a what is it, next month or the month after? Like people will have that break. They'll have that breather now. They're not as engaged. They're doing other things. But as soon as the majority of the market gets re-engaged and invigorated, and they start to see that the market is strong and things are liquid and people are enjoying again. And eventually that there'll be money like fatigue. I'm assuming they'll be buying fatigue for the 30th. And if the sentiment is good again, that's when you sort of see that money spill back into the other things that might have been down 20, 30, 40, 50%. Like, no, I don't expect that Lucario promo that was $750 that I don't know what it is now. Maybe it's probably still like $200. I have no idea. But I know I don't expect that sort of stuff to recover back to all-time highs, because those all-time highs in this kind of market never make sense. And if it ever hits that price again, it's a decade down the line. You never know. Yeah, it's so random, but I think just the overall invigoration, it'll come back. People enjoy it. People have fun. They'll start to enjoy it again after a bit of a break.
Another thing too is like to the people selling, because there is a good amount of selling pressure right now. We consigned today, yeah. sealed shiz consignments. Link in the description. But I see like what people are selling, and I see like auctions on certain stuff, and I don't believe that selling pressure is. I don't think it can last as long as people think. Like, everybody's like, oh, everybody's holding this stuff, and more people are investing in sealed product and just Pokemon in general than ever. But I think a majority of the people dumping right now are not well capitalized. I don't think that people that have money, that have big businesses, that have a long-term mindset on this are selling into this weakness. I think people that are over leveraged, where collectibles are a significant amount of their net worth, and they woke up one day and their collector app was down 15%, and then the next day it was down 18%, and then 22%, and they're trying to get out because they're scared. Those are the kinds of people that are selling right now, in my opinion. And like, you can call that copium or whatever, but like, that type of selling pressure is not infinite, because those people make up 10%, 15% of the total holdings, because they're lower capitalized. Like, they don't have the money. Maybe they're on leverage. Maybe they have credit cards to pay, whatever. I don't think whales are dumping into this right now. And like,
especially not dumping their good stuff. They're not dumping good.
Yeah. Like so like, I mean, Rudy's Rudy, whatever, but like, Rudy's buying Chaos Rising ETBs or whatever. And like, is that the best buy? Who knows? But like, the point is, like, I don't think, and I'm sure Alex is buying, and I'm sure Brian's buying, and I'm sure like Dan's buying, and like a lot of these big businesses are probably like, yeah, you want to sell me stuff for 70, 75%? I'll take it all. I think and again, like, I don't talk to a ton of people, but I don't think that the people that are selling right now are like super scared, like, oh, I got to get out now. I really do think it's the people that, just don't have a lot of means, don't have a lot of capital, don't have a long-term mindset. And that can last for a while, but I don't think it can last for 4 months. Like, I don't think that lasts through the end of the year. I really think that maybe by like end of October, early November, like, a lot of that is sort of like flushed out. And when you run out of sellers, if demand stays even at the level it is right now, like, prices are going to go back up, So like, do you see that in Australia? Like, do you see a lot of people dumping right now? Like, especially like sealed product or like slabs, or like, do you agree with that, or do you think that that's like copium? Or
no, I do see that, and I do see a lot of what is getting dumped is either ultra modern chases or less desirable items or grades. I'm not seeing people out there dumping outside of like, well, you're not seeing people dump like their Evolving Skies booster cases. They're not dumping their Celebrations UPCs. They're not dumping their Japanese on cases, things like that, because there's no real need to. Like, people know that if they've got good inventory and they don't need to sell it, like, they're not selling it. And I think that's always the case. And I think it's just more obvious now that that's always kind of happened. Like, yes, I'm more aggressively selling, dumping the less desirable stuff that I can replace, because it's just, at that point, it's just a churn. I'm seeing a lot of people, as I said, like, people putting up their collection, like, I need to sell everything today to pay a bill. Please give me, I'll accept 80%, but it's the 3 most modern ETBs and some tech sticker collections and a pitch black booster box. Like, it's nothing surprising. It's just, that's it. Yeah. Oh, that Lucario is down to $100 in a PSA 10.
Yeah, I think I just sold one today actually for 130. But I might bump the price on that one, honestly, because like, that Lucario sold. That is one of the highest sell-through rate rock cards I've ever sold on this store. Like, there's an insane amount of demand. Gardevoir, maybe
it's low pop. It's only 5200 PSA 10. Low pop.
That is pretty low pop for these days and times. All right, is it my turn to make the case or your turn? I feel like did I do it last time?
I don't know. I was like, I had just a very generic one, which is kind of sums up what we talk about. Is like, now is the time to have the conviction to buy the stuff that makes the most sense. Like one of the reels I had popped up yesterday, where it was like, when that Pikachu gym promo got to $1, like it was never not the right time. Like it was never going to be not a buy at that price. And I messaged you this morning. I said the new Japanese 2026 stamped Pikachu promo. It released, I think it released about 5 weeks ago. It's the Pikachu fighting the Gardevoir. It's in the series now. There's the Pikachu fighting the Charizard, Pikachu fighting the Mew, and now it's Pikachu fighting Gardevoir. Stamped Pikachu promo, Japanese print quality. It's okay art, but it's a Pikachu promo in Japanese. And it released at $30, and I said I'm not buying it. It'll obviously come down. It's trickled all the way down from 30, and this morning it hit $4. And it's like, all right, cool. That was my buy price. I said I'm going to start buying. I actually hadn't checked it in like a week. I was like, I'm going to start buying at 8. I've obviously missed that. I would have started buying at 8 if I had realized. That's been too busy. And there's a price range where I'm going to buy that card, like lots of that card, every single time I see it pop up until it reaches $8 again or $9, and then I'll stop buying. So I've got this opportunity now that I'm happy to buy absolutely any quantity of that card for in this buy price range. Because if I one day end my business and I've still got 500 of that card, like that's the easiest sale of my life. Like there's never going to be a price, and you can spam that onto Fanatics, you can spam that onto any platform you want, you can spam it on stream, you can put it on eBay. Like these obvious things that, because the market is softer, it's it is what it is. But like these are the obvious plays. Like that is the case of backing up what people say. If it gets so low, I'm going to buy it all. Doing it, like having the conviction to do that. Exactly the same thing with a lot of these first partner. I had someone hit me up and they said, we have 1,500 first partner CGC 10 slabs. Do you want them? And I just wasn't happy with their price. I'm like, look, I'd love them, but I'm getting them for 40% cheaper on Fanatics. And they're like, oh, we can't do that. And it's kind of like, oh, well, I'm just going to keep an eye buying them on Fanatics because it makes no sense. I'm buying a full art anniversary English starter promo in gem mint condition. Yes, it's a CGC 10, not the most desirable or liquid card, but at $15 to $20, I can't buy it and grade it. And that's always the case. If I can't buy something and grade it, yes, there's the upside. If you hit a pristine, you get a bit more, but you're also going to get 9s and 9.5s. You're going to get raw copies. If I can't buy something and grade it, get a gem in 10, if I can buy it for cheaper, that is the clear sign that something is the wrong price. We always go back to there used to be a time where it was cheaper to buy a PSA 10 Japanese bubble Mew than it was to buy the raw, with your odds of getting a 10, grade it and getting it back 2-3 months later. That was the obvious buy sign. And back then I didn't realize that. But as soon as the McDonald's Pikachu got under raw price in a 10, as soon as these first partners got, those Gecko Spark, the cheap, the Mew and Pikachu ones, that's the Mew and Pikachu, the Mew and Charizard. At one point, they were $11 on Fanatics in Gem 10. And I just loaded up. I kept buying them. all the way up to $20 because I couldn't replace it at that cost. So we're at that again. And I think you're going to see that. And I hope we see that with the 30th anniversary. Any of the promos, the Eevee, the Birds, the whatever, the Mew, Mewtwo, any of them. I hope that they get flooded because it just when you can't make it yourself for a cost, it's that obvious. And obviously you have the fundamentals of a popular card and things like that. But that's kind of my case. Is the time is now to do that sort of stuff. So do.
So do. What's for the Charmander specifically? Like, what is the price on the way up that you would like stop buying at in like Gem 10?
I think I'm beating like across all three. Like it depends. Like I'm judging what I'm paying based on what I always put the 3 as a setup on live. Like I'll do a set of 10 of almost every single one that I've got quantity of every live stream, and I just judge what I pay based off that. Like, because to be fair, like I put up a gem set of like the Poplio Sprigatito, whatever that set is, in Gem 10 and CGC, and I might get somewhere between 60 and 120 bucks, depending on the night. There's a big spread for a lot of those lower class ones. So like that's my bottom price is like I rarely think I'll get under 60. Usually it's 80 or above. So I'll just aim for 60. And there's a pretty good chance that I sell it for more. So it really is going to, like, if the prices start moving up again and I start getting more on stream again, like I'll just adjust that if they're still getting spammed through there. But while they're this low, like it makes no sense not to buy them. But it really just depends on what I'm consistently selling them on stream. So that's kind of my barometer of what I should be paying. Like I'm genuinely paying like 130 bucks, 140 bucks, 150 bucks for the Kanto Trio 10 sets. And with the first Partner Series 1 pack, I'm not sure what they are now. What are they, like 50, 60 bucks? You got to pull that set. So half the time they're off center. The price point makes no sense to me. So it's buy time.
Yeah, I mean they're cheap, dude. I'm wholesaling the Series 1 for $47 for the promo packs. But even Series 2, I think I have the promo packs up for like $30, $31 or something. Like that seems pretty cheap. Like that's, or actually maybe I'm even cheap.
Less. I just bought 1,000 at 20 each of the Pro Series 2.
Let me see.
And I've got no plans for them.
Oh no, I'm at 20. I'm at $25 for Series 2. Like that, I don't know. Like
this is another example. Like that is too cheap. With the amount of SKUs that they're gonna have to print for the 30th, I give it a pretty low chance that they end up doing a sizable reprint of, because they've already done 2 or 3 sizable reprints of Series 1 and 2. And they're still got Series 3 to do, and they still have everything else to do. So yes, like is Series 2, it's probably the weakest series, but is $20 for, pack fresh English promos where there's probably always going to be a grading play on them forever. Is it the best use of money? Maybe not. Is it good enough that I can put X amount of money into that and sit on it? Sure. Like 20 got to, because the week before I bought 500 at 35. Like I just bought them at 35. So I had to, like, it made sense. No, and I had conviction at 35. I was happy at 35. So when it dropped to like 20 or 25, whatever it's like, you have to, it would seem negligent not to.
Well, and like to the point too about like going into the holidays and stuff like that, like having $20 to $100 inventory of like popular Pokemon, full art, like that stuff is just like, because you have to think about the kind of people that are getting, like, you're not selling to like hardcore collectors anymore. You're selling to like casual people that want something looking cool, or parents that like want something for their kids. So if you have cool looking popular Pokemon for 20 bucks or PSA 10, CGC 10 slabs for like under 100, like that kind of stuff is just like snap by, people have that kind of discretionary income. So it's not like you're going to be struggling to offload that kind of stuff. Like there are going to be like so many buyers, especially in those price points. Now, like you start getting to like $500 to $1,000 stuff, like maybe like you don't see like a crazy influx of liquidity because maybe people don't want to spend that, or as many people don't want to spend that kind of money. But yeah, it's something worth considering. And I agree with you. If I had like more of an outlet to like sell that, like if I Ray and them kind of like have their own inventory and stuff. So like I'm not buying inventory for the stream, but if I was, I'd be buying that kind of stuff too. And a couple of the guys I deal with on Whatnot are doing the same thing. They're on Fanatics. They're having their employees sit there and buy certain cards at prices because they can just turn around and sell them on stream and make insane profit. So really quick before we go, I wanted to get to this. This guy asked it a long time ago and we never got to it. What are you guys' thoughts on Chinese exclusives? They've dropped quite a bit recently. Good buys. What do you think?
Yeah, had they dropped a bit recently? Like they had a huge run up. They've probably corrected 20, 30, 40%. I don't follow that market. I don't follow those chase cards. I'm assuming if you stretch it out to a 3-month time period, they haven't dropped a lot. And in my view, probably wouldn't be a good buy. The demand for Chinese, at least for me and my business, is very low. Unless it's a very cheap entry point, which these Alt Arts exclusives aren't. It just doesn't. It's not on my radar. So yeah, I don't. It's really hard. It might look like it's a good buy if something's retraced 40%, but if you look back, because those were dirt cheap. Well, not dirt cheap, like they did run up 100, 200% on a lot of those. I don't, necessarily, unless there's like some really cheap exclusives. I know there's like the Radiant Eevee and like the Radiant Venusaur and Blastoise and Charizard that are exclusive, and they're at a much lower price point. That's the kind of stuff that I would target, just because it's more accessible. If I run these more expensive Chinese exclusives on stream, I think I would get absolutely hammered. So you dabble in that much more? I don't think you really do.
I don't do the singles. The boxes sell like insanely well for me. The rocket set that just came out, the box looks sick. Like it's really nice looking. It's basically the same
It's
art
cheap
as
too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost I think it's too cheap. It's funny because my supplier actually was like, yeah, like this set's gonna be cheap because it's not gonna be that popular in China. And I'm like, what? You guys aren't into like Team Rocket in China? Like that's kind of a hot take. So I think it's cheap. I think it's gonna do really well over time. It is I mean, it's the newest thing, but it's by far like the best selling Chinese thing for me right now. Chinese has just been going nuts. I don't know. Like if I was going to speculate on one of the exclusives, like I'm not super up on the prices, but one thing I will say is the 151 sets, those got printed less, and once they popped off in price, especially the one with Gengar, I can't remember the name. They all have like it's like 151 Gather, 151 Surprise. I think Surprise is the one with Gengar. But that set came out very expensive out the gate and then just shot up in price and never came back down. And it was heavily faked, like heavily faked. So if I was going to speculate on singles, like I would probably pick the Pikachu Gengar. Again, like I don't know if that one's like corrected the most, but it's Pikachu and Gengar on a card. It's exclusive. The art's sick. That would probably be where I would look. The gem stuff, like a lot of that stuff is still in print, continues to be printed. I don't really know about that as much. There's a lot of Gem 2 out there. So even though it's like, oh yeah, it's exclusive Umbreon and all that sort of stuff, I don't really know if that's it. Again, if I was going to go for it, I'd go for one of the exclusive Pikachus, specifically something that came out of the 151 sets. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's tough.
I agree. The
they're
Pikachu
already
Gengar
so
is beautiful
expensive too. Like, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, yeah, I agree. I think there's a bit of an evolution fatigue at the moment. I'm noticing. They've been hammering the evolutions the last couple of years,
And they just
I
came
feel
out
a
with
lot
that
of people
EVAR.
and I feel like a lot of people are having a bit of fatigue in that space. What's the exclusive in the Rocket set? I know there's like a Brock,
there's like
wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like a Brock trainer or something. But like to me, the boxes, I mean, Destined Rivals, like I know there's like a reprint, but it's still expensive. Gloria Team Rocket is still dummy expensive in Japanese. So to me, like the chance at pulling like that Mewtwo, Giovanni, it's like that might be a good play in Chinese. Like I don't know how the print quality is on the set or anything like that, but like if that card is like 30, 40 bucks, like that to me might be like a snap, you know, because it's expensive in both the other languages. And one thing I've been seeing is like for the longest time, I didn't carry any Chinese sets that didn't have an exclusive art in them. I only carried the gem stuff. But I don't know, a month or two ago, I started carrying the mainline sets too, and they sold like insanely well. Like I ordered like 20 cases, it sold out in like 3 days or something. Like it was, and so I was like, oh, okay, now I need to order like 40 or 60 at a time or whatever. Like they sell out like really quickly. They sell really well on eBay. A lot of the time, like they're lower prices. But Chinese, I believe is like here to stay. I just don't do a ton. I don't invest in it, like the sealed stuff. Like I'm not putting any like sealed Chinese stuff back. Sets that I think are like undervalued relative. Like for a long time, I've thought like Gem 4 was really cheap just because I'm like, you know, people are paying more for less popular Pokemon exclusives when like the Ponyta Rapidash AR or whatever it's called in Chinese, that's like a Kanto Pokemon, and that's like the cheapest case by far. And so that seemed kind of, it's like people are paying like $1,000 for a Cubone, but like Ponyta's like $100 or something like that. That felt a little weird to me. So like I've thought for a while like Gem 4 seemed pretty cheap, and it's moved up a little bit. But yeah, I'm not like setting any of this stuff back long term just because I don't feel comfortable. China plays a lot more games than like Japan does. Japan's a little easier to predict, but yeah, China is all over the place. Like right now, Gem 3 is, I've been out of stock of Gem 3 for a long time because like they're just playing games. They said it was going to be restocked in the middle of July, and it came in for like a weekend, and then it was gone again. So yeah, I don't know. Anyways, more information than was requested. So all right, appreciate you all for being here. Any last minute words? Anything you wanna say before we rock and roll up out of here?
Go follow my Instagram. Knockout Cards and Repacks. That's it. We're almost at 1,000.
Go. Yeah, and don't bid Kai up on the first partners because he's trying to build a big position. So even though he spilled his plays, but yeah, I appreciate you guys being here. Stay positive, make some plays, have some conviction, and have a good rest of your night.